What's going on, guys? I want to pause the podcast for a minute just to bring you guys our sponsor, which is Merrick Health. But they're not only my sponsor, they are definitely the ones that help me keep my health right. And one of the things that sometimes gets lost in the podcast, we joke around a lot about health and drugs and all these different things, but I need to stress to you how important it is to actually see the people at Merrick Health to get your blood work, but not only to get your blood work, but also to optimize your hormones. So look, I'm not going to take a long time. We'll get back to the podcast. But trust me, get to merrickhealth.com/RBP. Don't worry about using my code if you don't want to. It doesn't matter. Just get to Merrick Health. Get somebody to look at your blood work. Get somebody to look at the drugs you're using and your hormones and make sure that you're doing things properly, because these things can lead to symptoms and issues down the road. Things that I didn't know about, things that doctors never told me about, and things that I'm dealing with now that I didn't have to deal with had I had the information. So please get to merrickhealth.com. A lot of the jokes are all fun and games, but you do have to take these things seriously because bodybuilding is a risky world and it's important for you guys to make sure you're getting checked. merrickhealth.com is the people to go see. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Oh. I was very disturbed to find out that you didn't like semi-pro. That's like,
No, I do like semi-pro. It's just not I just don't know it as well as other Will Ferrell movies. I like it.
There was a period of time where me and Summer were broke as fuck.
Mhm.
And hey, Paul.
Hi, Fouad. Hi,
We're
Mike.
just talking about we're just talking about semi-pro.
Oh, I love that one. One of my favorite. Jackie Moon.
There was a period of time where me and Summer were fucking broke and we didn't have cable. And I would go visit Summer. We didn't live together at the time. She didn't have cable. I didn't have cable. We were both just kind of getting by. Anyway, I would go visit her.
Not one of you had cable?
No, I think
make it work.
Pull your money together.
Make it work for one location.
We struggled to get where we are. Fuck you. Anyway, so
Melissa's on. Cool.
Yeah, I know. It's better than Ian for a change. Oh, sorry.
Hey,
fuck, it's Ian.
Hello.
This guy's
look at this guy.
He's got a professional setup now. Yeah.
What the fuck?
How do I sound? Does it sound nice?
Way better than all of us.
Very heavy
yeah.
Heavy bass.
It's like a
Hello. Hello.
He's going to talk over everybody. He's the
I know. This is what
That's what Fouad said last time. Yeah.
I'm just gonna mute him. I got mute here. I can just shut him up before
look at this. I even got a fucking.
They got a ring light.
Oh, you went all out.
I got a ring light. I got a nice painted backdrop here. You know.
You're good.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it better. I like it better when you sit back a bit. It's not so like talking like this.
It's like cupboards behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you don't have
this chair too.
What?
It's like
Oh, yeah. Oh, very nice.
Anyway, can I finish my fucking story, or cut me off, Ian?
Nope. You
tell
cannot.
us more about your background. Yeah, tell us more.
You want a tour? This is my gym room down here.
No, we don't want a tour. I was just telling Mike I was disappointed in him that he didn't know semi-pro too well. The Will Ferrell movie. Anyway, the point I was making was we didn't have cable because we were broke. And we had like, I don't know, 30 fucking DVDs, and that was one of them. And I think I've seen that movie like 11 fucking times.
Yeah.
But I think it might be my favorite Will Ferrell movie though.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm telling you.
I've never seen it.
I know it's underrated, but it's fucking hilarious.
I know. It's one of his best. That and Blades of Glory.
Blades of Glory I like, but I wouldn't put it in the top 5.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite Will Ferrell, Mike? Step Brothers?
Yeah. Easily. Or
Paul, what's your
favorite?
Anchorman. Paul, what's your favorite?
It's one of those two. Either semi-pro or Blades of Glory.
Really?
Yeah, those are my two favorites. I love those two movies.
I think my second favorite has to be. I think it has to be semi-pro, or not semi-pro. What's it called? Step Brothers.
I really like a good first Anchorman. You know.
Yeah, the first one especially.
That was good too. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Anchorman and Step Brothers are probably my top 2. Yeah.
Anyways, move the mic back a bit. It's too like it's too.
You gotta be a fist away from it.
Yeah.
Sounds like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Look how close Fouad is, though. I got to be as close as he is.
Mine's set different. That's why I don't sound like that. Like it's not. I don't
We can hear you right there.
You wanted here?
Like an ASMR.
Anyways, what's going on, guys? I missed you guys. Didn't get together. Me and Ian got together last week with Martin, but and Urs. But Mike and Paul, I haven't talked to you guys. How you guys doing? Well, Paul, I
Good.
talked to you.
We're always in the second rotation, me and Paul.
Yeah,
Fuck you guys.
we
We're
become
bench warmers.
we become second tier.
This is the first tier group, and then I have other tiers that pop in. This
Yeah.
this is tier 1.
I understand. I was traveling.
Yeah, you're working and stuff. I can't fucking go by your schedule all the time.
Were you judging?
I judged Victoria this past weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Van Isle.
The
Yeah,
pro show?
yeah, and the amateurs too.
Did you
How
head
was it?
judge? Did you head judge that or no?
No, Tarek Elgindi did.
Oh, that's right. That's
Oh,
right.
yeah, I
Tarek
saw
came in.
Tarek was there.
Yeah,
And how was that? Is he a good judge?
yeah. Tarek's a good judge. He was head judge. He got good command of the show. You know, he's entertaining. He's
Who else was
humorous.
judging?
Rudy, and then a couple from Washington, Chris and Michelle.
Is he slow or fast? I know some head judges are like burned through the show, and some are like,
He took his time because the amateur show was kind of small, and
Yes,
the pros had 3 classes, 3 female classes. One of Mike's
Mhm.
clients was in the show. Melanie Horton did really well.
oh
Yeah,
yeah. How
Rudy
did
Mill.
how did
And
Melanie do?
credited Mike with her added leg development, I might add,
Oh.
which is impressive because Melanie's what, maybe 55 years old. Well, I don't want to say
60.
Melanie. Really?
Mhm.
Wow.
I
So
just,
do
re- I just realized you have a sewing machine back there.
Yeah, it's cats.
Does Kat sew?
Yeah, she knows how to. She
Like-
doesn't like often.
Does she sew like everything?
No, just mittens.
Only mittens.
Mittens.
Dukes.
Imagine that.
Exclusively mittens.
Imagine that was true. That's the only thing she knows how to. That's a stupid question, I guess. Okay. Anyway, Paul, back to
Yeah.
you. Sorry, I got caught off guard by the
It's
sewing
okay.
machine.
I was distracted too, but I've been meaning to ask about that for weeks.
That's the first time I've seen it.
Oh,
Really?
it's always stood out to me. I just never thought to ask it.
Yeah,
I
I've
thought,
always noticed it.
I thought it was something to do with your clothing line, Mike. Like maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah, he's
make
over
him
there
out-
sewing.
Make him
I
out
don't
shit.
know.
all his shirts.
No, maybe you're pressing.
makes them
I don't know.
Custom
He just-
orders one by one.
He just made that shirt he's wearing. He just made it
I
before the
made
podcast.
these, I made these too.
You actually know every shirt order you place on Mike's website, he takes your exact measurements.
Yeah,
and
he
they're all
makes it.
custom tailored.
Yeah.
Like those old
Yeah.
school French shops,
Yeah.
in the middle of the mall.
Cat's sitting there slaving away. Mike's just yelling at her.
Fucking sweatshop.
2 more
yeah.
shirts. God damn it.
Got tight deadlines here.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? Just want to take a break from the podcast to show you guys some of the new stuff we have back at Hostile. So we've been waiting on this stock, and we have our body bags back in stock. The body bag oversized tee, the oversized tee, championship oversized tee, and permabulk oversized tee are all back in stock. I know a lot of you guys were waiting for those. And then if you go to the homepage, you see our new Hostility V2, which is an awesome formula. It tastes better. It works better. And if you have not tried it, it's an all-in-one pump, focus, energy, and endurance. And the new flavor is Blue Raz. So if you get a chance, get to hostile.com, use code RBP, use code Samson's code, Sam's code, Nick's code, whoever's code you want to, and check out our new stuff. Thank you, guys. Anyways, speaking of small shows, we didn't get to talk about Detroit. We talked about it with Martin, me and Ian did, but we didn't, the 4 of us were together that weekend, amongst others like Seth, Hunter, Ben,
Simpson.
Samson, Sam. We had a pretty good time. Ian had a pretty crazy training session with Samson and Sam,
And then Seth and Samson the next day too.
and then Seth and Samson and Ian trained together the next day, and then Mike showed up in Detroit for 3 hours and then left. This is like magic trick you do. You just pop in, you're like, hey everybody, and then you just
Like Batman.
It's like,
Then he's gone.
you missed the feast. We went for an Arabic feast. Arabic
was good.
Did you?
That was good.
Yeah, because the show's in Dearborn. So we went, they
This
lined
is a
up.
massive Arabic population there, eh?
Yeah,
The
really.
biggest one in the US. Yeah. So they lined up a table that was like, I couldn't believe the hospitality. We walked in,
Yeah.
I called their head. I'm like, we have like 25 people.
Like,
We show up. Yeah. They're like, come on. We show up with like 35 people.
Hmm.
In the middle of the fucking restaurant, they put like a fucking row of tables like 30 feet long, and they sat us all down. And the fucking
Service was quick.
the service was
Yeah.
good. Like they brought all the waiters and waitresses came over. We're serving our whole table.
The
Yeah.
food was
Don't
so
tell me,
fresh.
don't tell me it's quicker than the service on Saturday night, because that service is crazy.
I didn't even get my meal.
I'm still waiting for my steak from that.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Paul had a conversation with the person that he organized the hotel with, and he's like, hey, you need to speed that shit up for next year because we have
Yeah.
guests.
I let her know, Mike.
So,
Don't worry.
He
It can
already,
happen again next year.
he already put his foot down.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Put
Oh,
extra
boy,
staff
Paul.
on next year.
Yeah.
They didn't know.
Anyway.
In their defense, they didn't know what to expect this year.
Anyway, you know what? I'll let I don't want to talk about our own show. Ian, why don't you give your impressions? And I know people are gonna be like, oh, he's biased, he's his friend, but
Shit.
Well,
Yeah.
so be it. So be it.
I already know I know a couple things I want to change next year, but regardless, Ian, what do you think?
I thought the show was great. I had a great time. I've been to a lot of pro shows. I think you guys ran it really well. I think you talked a big fucking game about the lighting and the backdrop, and it turned out as good as it could have. I think, when look, it's obviously scary if you're going to make those kind of things, be like, hey, we need to be doing this for the athletes. You'd want, black backdrop lighting, and it needs to be in a theater, and you say all these things. You say these and then say you do it, and then like the pictures and the videos turn out and like they don't look any better. They look worse or like looks like shit. Then it's like, what the fuck nonsense was this guy talking?
Yeah.
But literally the talk since then has been how awesome the lighting was, how awesome the stream quality was, how great the photos was. Gilco did an awesome job. The black backdrop was perfect.
I just want to interrupt too. Gilco did have help from, and I didn't know this at the time, but Gilco also had help from Zach Rich.
Yeah.
I think it's Zach Rich Z Rich Productions. I believe him and Zach worked together on the lighting from what I was told afterwards. So I wanted to
whoever did it, they did a stand-up job. The show ran really well. I think honestly, everyone in the pro show turned up really in really good shape. I think everyone
were they in really good shape though, or was it just the lighting?
It was just the lighting. Actually, they were all fat, and the lighting was so good that they looked incredible. The lighting made them look twice as good as they actually looked.
At least 20%.
No, it was good. I mean, and I said to you after the show, I was like, this was the biggest bodybuilding show that ever had 6 competitors,
It was.
Yeah. I was like,
And
it's
the
the
biggest
crowd. Like
Yeah.
I've been to like Tampa pros when they were like at their biggest years, like it's a full audience and stuff like that. It felt like that. Like the audience was, especially at finals, was like electric. Like they were really enjoying it. They enjoyed the comparisons, and Tyler made it a good show. I got to give him his props for that. He did a lot of comparisons. Especially with that top 2, he really worked them. It made them earn that victory because it was a close show between those 2 guys.
What did you think about? So one of the things I like to kind of analyze the parts of the show. What did you think about us throwing stuff out into the audience? Is that slow the show down? Does it get tedious? Is it annoying? Or is it?
I think it's good. And I think we were all on stage, and you saw how excited the people in the crowd were. They were like screaming, like, throw shit here. They were really enjoying it. And look, I think if you had a show with 600 competitors in it, and you had every single pro class, and you were like really fighting for time so that you don't finish at 1:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's something you need to reassess. But because you just had pro bodybuilding plus the amateur show, I think it allowed you to do some things like that. You had Samson Hunter kind of did an impromptu guest posing.
Yeah.
That's been a tradition. It's been a tradition of ours, Fouad.
Yeah.
Remember last year you had the gun. Remember the t-shirt gun? You're setting that off in Oakville last year.
I was gonna bring the gun. So for people watching, we have a t-shirt gun, like those t-shirt cannons.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's illegal to bring across the border, so I didn't try and bring it, but I wanted to bring it so I could use the t-shirt cannon on stage. But last year we were firing them off like fucking 100 yards.
You gotta start loading them, putting shaker cups in there.
Yeah, no, man, that thing hurt. It would hurt somebody.
Yeah, I know.
But no, I think it went off really, really well. I think you guys did a great job. I think you had an awesome team that was, your stage, expediting team did a really good job. I think the expo was an awesome little thing to have in there as well. Give the fans some opportunity to interact. Like, you said you had Samson, Hunter, Mike, myself, like, Seth Feroci, some people there.
Justin Harris showed up.
Justin Harris, and some other brands.
Mike Israetel came too.
Mike Israetel stopped by with so you had some opportunity to meet some different personalities like that as well, which I think was really cool. You don't get that at a lot of shows. Opportunities for people to buy some product, buy some merch, stuff like that. And I know there was a lot of people that even came there that just came for that. They came there to see athletes or buy some product or buy some merch and take a couple pictures and leave. So it made it a very, cool event to kind of have all of that. And I'm excited to see how much it grows from here. I think it gained a lot of traction, a lot of hype.
Yeah.
And I think you definitely will have more guys, excited to do that show next year for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, one of the questions I saw in our Q&A was like, somebody said something about, I've heard rumors that athletes were boycotting the show for whatever reason, because I have a conflict with them or whatever. I just want to address that real quick. Stu Sutherland messaged me probably a week before the show or somewhere in that time frame and apologized to me for not doing the show. He's like, man, I wish I would have done the show. He's like, it looks like you guys have everything going set up. I think it was after I released the memorial awards.
Yeah.
Once
Which
we
was the last
released
week.
once we released those memorial awards that we were doing like $2,500 each for Cedric, Luke, and John, I think a lot of bodybuilders are like, fuck, man, these guys are really trying to do something. So
Yeah.
I got a message from Stu that was really nice. Tonio had contacted me. Then he even contacted Tyler, but he missed the deadline. James said he wished he would have done it. Like, I got messages from guys who are like, I'm committed next year for sure, blah, blah. So I don't think it's not a question of boycott. Obviously, look, you guys know who I have had issues with in the past and what's not. Those people aren't going to do the show anyway. You know what I mean? I don't need to mention names, but we already know who's who. Those people are probably not going to compete at that show regardless because it's not a big show. So the show would have been if everybody that was even Mo, I saw Mo was there at the meet and greet as well.
Yeah,
He had
Mo's
his
there.
OCD cookie company. They sponsored the show. Mo said, man, I wish I would have done the show, blah, blah, blah. So like we had friends of ours committed. We had Mo and John. Tonio wasn't committed, but he was talking about it. James had committed. So you got to think if you just add those four guys, plus Martin and Vito and Ron Gordon and Justin. Now you got a show that's 9-10 guys deep
that are all guys that are like top 10 Olympia potential.
That are all in the same like kind of ballpark. So the boycott thing is a rumor that probably a couple assholes started that they're just running with it. Whatever, it's fine. But I'm just trying to set the record straight. I think we discussed this on the last podcast. I think ultimately the main thing, and me and Paul discussed this, is probably timing. Number one, it's a new show. Number two, it's timing. It's kind of like in the middle between the UK and New York. So it's kind of like a standalone.
Yeah.
I think those two things are probably the biggest thing. But now that people know what the show is about, I think next year we're going to have no problem.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, there's so many people already who've reached out for next year. And
and just to touch back on that, I think what you guys did with the Memorial Awards was awesome. I think, and that gives some guys some different things to, fight for and be proud of. Like, even if you didn't win the show, let's say someone like Ron Gordon, let's say, he didn't win the show, but Ron's been someone that historically didn't necessarily get the best conditioning every time.
Yeah.
And for him to, have an award like that to be recognized for something that he obviously made some big improvements for. He was in excellent condition. I think that was a very, worthy pick for that award.
Just let it to people. I don't think people know what he won. So he won the most shredded.
The most shredded, sorry. Yeah.
Which was the John Meadows Award.
Yeah.
Because he was fucking peeled.
Yeah. So I think for guys that, didn't win, but still got to be recognized for something that they did that was stand up, Martin, won, but he won the best poser, and Vito won the most muscular, so I think it adds a little bit of, extra excitement to see who's going to win these awards and give something for these guys to, be recognized for, their hard work. Right.
Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
And I think Fouad too, like, like it was it was all you and Ben, with the special awards, like you guys, it was your idea, and I was more than happy to support it. But like the money too, like these are professional athletes; they should be paid if they're getting an award. It shouldn't just be a trophy that we put a name on a trophy and because we're trying to get some accolades for it. No, these guys got paid for it too.
Well, that's the thing is like people are like, oh, the money's money. No, the money's not money. The money is money out of our fucking pockets. Like the money, third place. Because Ron Gordon won that award, plus he got third, so he walked away with $7,500.
Right.
Yeah.
That's $2,500 short of first place at most shows.
That's more than second at every other pro show, right? Generally,
right? They should feel like professionals. They should feel like professional athletes because that's what they are.
And then and Vito walked away with 12.5.
Martin walked away with 27.5.
Martin walked away with almost $30,000. Like this is, fuck, like. Yeah,
30
I'm
grand.
Sure,
that's what I was getting for placing like in the top 7 at the Olympia.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure if you walked through the show with a fine tooth comb, you could probably find things that we could have done better. And I can already think of a few.
Year.
Yeah.
But I mean, fuck. Like overall, I feel like it was a success. So I'm pretty happy
100%.
with the way things went.
I'm proud.
But I do like to do this thing kind of publicly that I do with Hostile sometimes. So I'm going to do it with this too, if you don't mind, Paul. Me and Paul have been battering around, and Ben have been battering around some dates for next year. Do you mind if I do this on the podcast?
No, not at all. No, I'd love to hear people's input.
I just like to get people's commentary, plus you and Mike. So next year, we sat down with Tyler, we discussed next year. We kind of have free reign from the Arnold UK to New York. So I know you guys probably have an idea in mind already, but just let me run through this for the audience. So we can have the date 2 weeks after New York. Or sorry, 2 weeks after the Arnold UK, which would be like March 29th or some shit. And anywhere in that period up until May 3rd, which is 2 weeks before the New York. So I feel like there's some pros and cons to each of these. So if we keep the same date we had, which would be like, say next year would be like April 19th or something like that. If we keep the same date we had, I feel like it carves out our spot. Like this is our show. It's in April. This is the one. It's by itself. You can come and potentially get your Olympia qualification. And we might get like those guys that are like almost first tier, second tier, all trying to get their qualification in there. If you do the 2 weeks after the UK, I feel like it's great because you get all the Arnold guys. They're like still in shape. They're more likely to come to the show. But then you may also get a Samson, a Derek, a Hadi, a Nick, one of these top Olympians that wins the Arnold and then just comes and wins Detroit. So that might scare away a lot of the other bodybuilders. And then you have the May 3rd spot, which is a good one because I feel like anybody getting ready for New York would jump in and do the show as well. So these are kind of the three spots I was thinking about. Mike, what do you think kind of those dates? What if you had to guess like your ideal spot, what would you think?
My knee-jerk response to what you saying that is I'd rather just carve up my own spot.
Yeah.
I would rather be known as like, this is now a show that is prestigious. Like I wrote you about personally, as like you set a standard and now it's going to gain momentum. So it's like, fuck all these other shows and like getting guys that are close to this or close to that. And like, we're basically looking like we're like sucker fishing off of like these bigger shows. It's like, let's just stand alone and stand above everybody and have people be like, I'm dieting for that show. And if I don't do well at that show, I'm going to go to New York.
Right.
Or I didn't do well at the Arnold, I'm going to go to this show. Right. So I think it's better that you guys carve out your own little place. I understand the reasons for the other two decisions and they make sense as well. But I just think that you guys you're starting something special and you're bringing things back to like what all of us kind of grew up with bodybuilding, where it was just about the bodybuilding. It wasn't about like the sponsorships and who's going to be there and fucking who's handing out trophies, like all this fucking corporate bullshit. It's all a part of it. But I mean, it felt like at that show, it felt like you were at like an amateur show, but in a very good way, in the sense that it felt intimate. I felt like I thought I was at a show. I wasn't at an event. I was at a fucking bodybuilding show.
Right.
And I was like front and center with these guys under fucking great lighting and they're showcased like the way they should be. I'm not looking at like all this other shit going on or having to look between people's heads and shit. You know what I mean? Like it was presented in the right way. So, I mean, I just don't mean to ramble on, but I think that you guys should really just say like, this is when our show is. And you guys understand that the prize money will either stay the same or depending on how well it goes in the future and how you attract people, it's like the prize money could always go up. And it's like, who else is offering that?
Right.
So if you want to make money and you want to win a show, come do our show. If you want to fucking do a show you perceive to be something that it's not and make $10,000, knock yourself out. But this is going to stand alone. Like I'm sure Arnold, when Arnold made the Arnold Classic at the beginning, didn't think to himself, I need to do a show around another show. He's like, I'm doing it in March.
Well, Paul,
people are like, what? And he's like, yeah, March. Like,
it's funny you said that.
Fucking the winter in Ohio. I'm gonna fucking do it in winter Ohio. Like,
Paul,
everyone's like, what are you talking about?
Paul literally said that to me. He's like, you think Arnold was thinking about this when he decided on Columbus?
Yeah, he's like, I'm doing it here. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's like build it, and they will come.
Yeah.
Ian, what do you think? I'm pretty sure you have a different opinion, but what do you think?
Honestly, I'd never really thought about that because when we initially talked about it, you were kind of exploring the idea of other dates.
I was.
So then I started thinking, what are better of other dates, and that's staying the same, but wasn't. But obviously, Mike presents a great case. And when you give it in the context of talking about the Arnold, and making it its own thing, I completely understand. I agree. I think it's one of those things that there's pros and cons to every single one of them.
Yes, I know.
I think having it your own thing is definitely like taking a stand of like, we believe in our show, we believe in the product of what we're offering here.
Right.
And we think that if we continue to stand ground with this, that the people will come because they're going to see what we're offering at the show in terms of, the treatment of the athletes, the prize money, the stage that they're getting to compete on, a whole bunch of really awesome things that is not necessarily offered by every show. So I absolutely agree with that. But I also agree with, moving it to other shows. And I don't think it necessarily means that. The only thing I would disagree with is that I don't think it's like you're necessarily leeching off other shows. I think just sometimes athletes like to like set it up to take a run at shows.
Right.
And it's not like, okay, I'm aiming for New York, but Detroit's right before it in case
Why
I
do
knew
you keep
that.
getting a thumbs up?
What's that?
Is it
bubble?
like is Zoom
like a-
like Ian's always right? Because you thought that's the second time it's happened.
It's like an AI program.
Anyway, go on. Ian's
I don't know,
cheating
I see
somehow.
that.
He's good. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
But I think you could also create, so you give the opportunity for, athletes to do a number of shows in a row and yours to be the first of that,
Right.
and I don't think it's like, hey, we're taking away, we're trying to get guys that are going to New York. It's like, guys are going to do Detroit first.
Right.
They're going to plan to do Detroit first. And then if they don't succeed there, or they want to keep competing, or they want to win other shows, then they can go to New York, go to that. And you're before them,
Yeah.
So I think it can work a million ways. If I was going to pick between one of the two, or between all of them, I would be, either doing what Mike said, and staying your ground, or I'd be going closer to New York. Yeah.
The reason I like the one thing I didn't say when I was kind of giving out the options, we would like to make the NPC portion of the show bigger.
Sure.
Like I don't know how Paul feels about next year because we haven't really fully discussed. Like I haven't had a meeting about it yet, but because we got to get together with Ben as well. But I part of me just wants to keep it like bodybuilding and classic.
Yeah.
But then there's another part of me that's like, let's make it bodybuilding classic and like wellness or something like that, right?
You're probably hearing as much as I am, Fouad, from people. Like people are messaging me, and when I'm at shows like this past weekend, people are like, wellness, bikini, like people are just begging us to add classes.
I know, but there's other shows that do just
there is
12 and we don't
I'm
have
not
to
arguing for that. Just saying.
I feel like maybe we should make it a massive NPC show and just have like bodybuilding classic.
Make it a hardcore bodybuilding show.
Yeah. It's just like
we call it like instead of Wings of Strength, we call it Balls of Steel.
You've been waiting to drop that. Paul's been
I've been talking about this for 2 weeks.
It's like, I'm gonna drop it right now. Balls of Steel.
I saw my opening, Mike. I saw some daily.
I think you said that to me backstage at the show. They're like, him and Ben came up to me. They're like, because they've been trying to fucking think of a name for our production, right? Because we don't have like a business name for our production that we put on the poster and shit. So I think we were backstage before the show even started. And I'm like, why are you, hey, I thought of a name for I'm like, guys, why are you thinking about this now? They're like, no, Balls of Steel. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Doing the Balls of Steel show in Detroit.
Yeah.
Really?
No, but Ian, what do you think about that? What do you think about a show that's like, obviously we offer every NPC category, but it's just bodybuilding and classic?
I mean, I'm all for it. I don't think you need to give any more than you want and that you're interested in having your show and you want to see. I also think, especially for the beginning, I definitely think that keeping it smaller so that there's, the show can be a little more intimate, like Mike said. And you have the opportunity to, treat the athlete like, look, even if a bigger show, you could still, I think you guys would be able to treat athletes the way you do, because that's just who you guys are. But in terms of, the speed at the show runs, and able to take the time like we did to, throw things in the audience and have the impromptu guest posings and not be done at midnight,
right?
And, have the judges take a little more time to, run these guys through the paces. Right. I think that's one thing you get with having a little smaller show, especially for the pro classes. So, I'm all for it. I mean, but I also think it would be cool to see all the other classes there too, or add a women's class or something like that as well to, give the ladies something. But,
I wondered, sorry to interrupt you. I wondered, like, part of the reason why I want to add like figure or bikini or wellness or one of them or two of them is because I want the NPC portion of the show to grow. I want women to feel like it's for them too.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of the argument for having one or two women's classes is I want the NPC amateur women to come there feeling like they're going to see their idols, mentors, whatever you want to call it, So it's kind of like my thought process. I don't know how Paul feels about that. How do you feel about the class thing? We haven't really discussed it.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I know me and you and Ben have to
What
talk
other
about this
what
stuff.
other shows are you guys competing with amateur show wise in that area? Are there like big shows for amateurs there? Like other
But Michigan,
promotions?
Michigan has
Michigan's a dead
doesn't.
zone. Yeah.
No, but Michigan, Paul, you said Michigan has a show like every other weekend.
They have a lot of shows.
Yeah.
They
They
seem to
just,
be a little bit on the smaller side there
Yeah.
typically.
yeah.
And I think like, you know, some of the surrounding areas too, like Illinois and that too. I don't hear a lot of big amateur shows going on in that area right now. So that's one thing that we talked about too. Maybe Fouad and I and Ben and I maybe doing some gym tours around the area.
Yeah, like
Posing,
market the
posing
fuck out
clinics.
of that.
Yeah,
Well,
posing clinics, things like that in the
it's
areas.
it's funny you said that, Paul, because I've gotten a bunch of messages from like NPC coaches that were like, "Man, I heard the show was this, the show was that. We're going to put my clients in that show next year." They're from like one was from Illinois, one was from Pennsylvania. I'm like, all right, so people are going to start from the surrounding areas and Michigan all coming there. That's what we want. But I'm saying like on the pro aspect of it, I don't want to alienate the women. So
I
like,
know.
does it mean we should offer one or two women's classes for the amateur women to feel like their heroes are at that show too? You know what I
I
mean?
know
Yeah, I
that's
understand
something that's something I think that I think maybe we should do, but then that gets away. If we want to keep it a hardcore bodybuilding show, obviously we got to make some compromises there.
I think it
But
could still be hardcore. It's not because I didn't think it was going to be hardcore. I just wanted it to be like it's it's almost what Mike said without me even kind of I didn't articulate it, but that's kind of what I liked. It was intimate. It was like
Yeah.
yeah,
we are just bodybuilding. Come to our show. This is what you get. You get what we advertise. That's it. We're not like doing all the hoopla. We don't have a million classes.
well then, I mean, it's
You
the
know,
hometown of Andrea Shaw. Maybe we have women's bodybuilding.
it's a possibility.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't feel like
Some
that.
stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we have to get into it. Anyway, if
Yeah.
you're watching, comment below what date you would like to see out of the three I described. It's funny, neither of you said anything about the Arnold. I thought that would have been a popular one.
I think it works as well. I mean, like I said, I think all there's pros and cons to every single selection there. But I do think that outside of the like big name guys that are doing the Arnold shows, most guys are starting their season in May.
You know what I didn't add to that? Sorry. I think the USA's or the Nationals or something like that is in June, isn't it?
July, I think, is
Oh, it's in
USA's.
July. So it's
I
still
think so. I got to check.
it's still too far away then. Because I was thinking like if the USA's are in June.
Guys that turn pro and could.
No, I was thinking like then the NPC people that did the show
NPC.
May 3rd,
Right.
they would already be like close to their like doing the Nationals. Because the national qualifier, right? So
Yeah.
I thought if we're closer to the Nationals or the USA's, that way they can just go to the next thing. But if it's in July, that's still kind of too far anyway.
I think I have to check those. It used to be July at least.
Anyway, enough about that. I think the show's a success. Paul, do you want to say anything about it?
No, it was really cool. I thought to see some of the Detroit locals come out too, like Mike Israetel and Justin Harris, like come out to the show.
Yeah.
Mike, driving down from Toronto, Ian coming down from Ottawa. Like it was great to have everyone there and everyone coming together.
Yeah.
Seth, Hunter, like all these guys came from everywhere. It was great.
Speaking of the Detroit, the Detroit people were fucking really happy.
Yeah.
I felt like I shook a lot of hands and people were like, man, thank you for doing this. We haven't had anything in Detroit in a while.
Yeah.
Not even that it was Detroit, but I mean Michigan. So it was like, it's kind of cool to see like them happy to be able to meet whoever their favorite is or see the show.
But I also have to say, we talked to some guys and met some guys that were the amateur show that are like, I'm from, 20 hours away.
I remember that.
I came and did your show because I just wanted to do the show.
Right. There's one guy, I think he was
I talked to two or three at least, one girl and then one or two guys. Yeah.
I talked to a gentleman that was military. That was like,
we talked to him at the athletes meeting.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, I forget his name.
He did classic.
Yeah. Anyway, overall it was good. I don't want to take the whole show to do it, but congratulations to Martin and Vito put on a fucking awesome show.
Yeah.
So thank you to them for making it what it was. What I do want to do is before we get into questions, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I wanted to get into the Patrick and Milos bullshit that's going on. Apparently, for those of you who don't know, Patrick was on Dennis James' podcast, and the subject came up of Milos coaching Patrick. Patrick says he didn't. Milos says he did. And now it's become a huge thing. And I feel like it's something strange going on in the bodybuilding world. I feel like people are picking a side and the other guy just gets his name dragged through the fucking mud. Like Patrick is just getting ripped apart. And I feel like unjustly, but
Coached him how? Like gave him advice in his own coaching career?
well,
or like coached him?
I think this is the crux of the problem is Patrick's
definition.
Patrick's definition of coaching is like Patrick is the kind of coach that's like on the phone with you every day, 365 days a year. And like Iain knows, Iain was coached by him. So you tell us, Iain.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's a difference in definition, and I'm not saying this is what Milos is claiming, but I'm saying, you know, if you offer someone, say, a drug protocol or a diuretic protocol, or help them a few times throughout their prep, you know, answer some questions, I don't think that's you're coaching them, because, like I said, if that's the case, I'm coaching like 6,000 people right now. You know, like I answer questions like this literally 25 times a day. If people be like, "Hey, I'm 8 weeks out. This is what I'm doing. What do you think? What should I do for this?" I literally answered this for. There's probably 50 people competing this weekend that are doing a.
You shouldn't have said that. You know, you're gonna get a fuckload of emails
now.
Don't fucking message me.
Sounds so.
But in all seriousness, so I think. Look, I trust Patrick completely, wholeheartedly. I believe Patrick is an extremely honest person, and you know, I do agree there is two sides to every story, but obviously I'm inclined to Patrick is my friend, a very close friend, and whatever he says, I'm going to believe him. So, you know, if we're talking about picking sides here, I pick Patrick's all day, every day.
So I don't have to pick sides because I'm not very close with either one of them.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say they're both telling the truth. I really think I watched
but they're just definitions different.
Right.
Yeah.
I watched the last podcast they did together on Dennis James podcast on Muscle and Fitness YouTube page. Check it out. The last one they did together, I watched it. I'm like, I want to hear what this shit's about. I was just curious for some stupid reason. And it sounds to me like they're both telling the truth. It sounds to me like Milos gave him some advice. It sounds to me like Patrick didn't utilize it. And Patrick did his own thing. And Milos thought he was coaching him, even though he might have only give him maybe a little bit of advice, maybe give him a diet and a protocol. I don't think like Iain said, I don't think to Patrick that's coaching. I think to Patrick, like Patrick said in the podcast, he said, "You never even saw me." He said to Milos, "You never even saw a picture of me. You never saw a picture of me. You never saw a photo. You never saw a video. How could you be coaching me?" So to me, that tells me it's just a definition of like, because if Patrick's going to coach you, Iain knows you probably send him photos every fucking day.
Twice a day.
Right. Twice a day. So this is just a matter of like, it's a matter of Milos's definition, which is I gave you a protocol in the last week's peak, which was what it kind of sounded like.
Yeah. Like I gave you an insulin protocol or a diuretic protocol, helped you with some things. And look, Milos at the time, like there was not a lot of big name coaches then. I mean, you had like maybe a Cito starting off, Chad Nichols, Milos, a couple guys that had a reputation. You know, Patrick was a pro bodybuilder. He reached out to someone with a reputation, maybe like Milos, for a bit of guidance. But I think there is a big difference between guidance and coaching.
Right.
You know,
like, look, and like I said, I believe Milos, because even Patrick's like, I thanked you because you did send me something.
Sure. Yeah.
So Patrick's not really denying it. He's saying you did, you know what I mean? So it's like the whole thing's really fucked up. I don't even know what they're arguing about because I think
why do they care?
Well, I think Milos just felt like he was
like, because he helped him at one point that like set the trajectory of his coaching career up or something. Like no,
that's not what Milos is saying. I think Milos just found it weird that Patrick didn't acknowledge that he coached him.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think it's just a matter of different definitions of what a coach is.
Coaching.
I have to say, I have to agree with Mike though. Like we're talking about something 20 fucking years ago about like he might or might have not coached someone.
Like what is it? Are you that like hung up on it? Like as Milos, like are you that?
Who cares?
Do you need someone to like hand you your roses that much that they need to like go back 20 years and be like, oh, you gave me advice and give you some type of credit that like what does it add to your life?
Yeah.
You know, you guys had a discussion. I've had discussions with people. I don't fucking turn around and say, oh, I'm responsible for how that guy turned out. It's like he's always trying to like, I've talked to Milos in different interviews and stuff, and I'm a huge fan of Milos, and I think me and Iain were kind of talking in the group about that. But it's like this dude, man, like he's always searching to like be the one that people are searching for. Like he's like some missing link. And in some cases he might be. And like his views on insulin, like back in the day when I was coming up, I like watched his training. I watched like how he did his insulin and all this stuff. So he had an effect on me, and like he impressed stuff on me. But it's like you don't get to run around like just taking claim for everybody. Like, oh, I showed everybody everything. It's like, okay, cool, man. But like if you're really genuinely there to help people and that person knows that you help them, why do you need them to advertise that you help them?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, is it not good enough for you to just be like, yeah, I helped this guy and I hope he does well? And he just needs to be like, get his props all the time. Like, oh, I'm the fucking guy. It's like, we know you're fucking great, Milos. Like you're great at a lot of shit, dude. But why are you so desperate for affirmation all the time from all these people? Like, we get it, dude. You're great. Like,
yeah, I think it was a misunderstanding on the podcast. And I think from what I gather is almost like Milos was embarrassed that he wasn't like, he's like, Patrick almost pretended that he didn't do anything. So I think he wanted to set the record straight, which is fine. I mean, look, the only reason I'm talking about it is not because I give a shit who coached who. The only reason I'm talking about it is because I actually want to talk about the bigger picture of what's happening to fucking bodybuilding media. It's like
it's all TMZ bullshit.
Is there nothing else to talk about?
No, but it's not even that there's nothing else to talk about. It's the way it's talked about. You know how we're talking about it and we're like, yeah, they both have a point. They both make sense. When you listen to other fucking people talk about it, it's like, fuck that guy. That guy's a fucking lie. Yeah, I'm like, it's crazy. Like,
does that get more views that way doing that?
I don't know, dude. It's crazy what's happened to people's like demeanor. It's like when I read some of the comments on Dennis's podcast, and I could not believe the things that were being said about Patrick. And I'm like, this is a good person. Yeah. Like for the little I know of him, like James has worked with him, Ben's worked with him, Ian's worked with him, with countless other people who've worked with him. And it's like a good fucking person. It's just like people don't care. They just say shit flippantly without knowing anything about it.
Yeah.
They don't know the person. They weren't there for the situation. And they just blurt this shit. And I'm like,
why are you so ample to believe one person over the other? Like, what makes it so that like if Milo says something and Patrick says something, they both have their own side, that you're just automatically going to assume that like it's not just like Fouad said, a difference of definition, or that Patrick is lying in what he's saying? You know, like people are so quick to judge and like make these like strong accusations and claims like this person's a fucking lying piece of shit and blah, 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 and give him his, it's like, but maybe you're wrong in your assumption here, you know?
They always have to, it's like there's this thing in society now where we're creating divisions in everything in life. So everything has to be black and white.
Yeah.
There's no like intermingling or understanding people. Like, it's like, you guys are talking about these, like Fouad saying, saw these comments saying, fuck this guy, fuck that guy. I literally had 5 people write me today on my Instagram who left positive comments on a post of mine and got their comments removed.
Really?
And I can see what the comment says. It's like, oh man, thanks for helping me with this. It's really helped.
Oh, you mean where it says hidden? Like it got hidden?
No. It's a screenshot of that they got from Instagram saying their comment was taken down because it's offensive or spam.
No way.
And it's a positive comment. 5 people sent me this. That's what I'm telling you. Like,
weird.
I'm getting like, I get blacklisted or fucking wherever shadow banned on Instagram all the time. Because I'll see numbers go from like high hundreds of thousands to low hundreds of thousands within 2 days.
Yeah.
Depending on what I say or what I post.
I get this all the time.
Yeah.
That's why I don't respond. I don't respond on posts anymore. I don't do anything because I'll get flagged all the time. But they want to have this dialogue on social media of these extremes. They don't want to have positivity. They want to have, fuck that, this guy's wrong, you're wrong, fight. That's all it is, man. Like, you'll see good comments here and there. Yeah.
So but where did this start? Like, why? Look, there's people like Nick Strength and Power. There's people like Mark Smacks Muscle. There's people like, there's some channels out there that are like just talking about bodybuilding, but they're not necessarily like digging into people.
So their comment sections could be people disagreeing and fighting too.
Yeah, but
we're not talking about the content itself. We're talking about people in the comment sections.
But I feel like the content leads the comments.
It can, but even I think I agree with Mike at this point that it could not even be. It could be super upbeat, happy content, and people will go in there and fight.
No,
to the
but
death.
I'll give you an example. No, I understand. You guys are right, but I'll just give you an example. So we're talking about Patrick and Milos. in my opinion, we kind of gave both sides and we kind of said, look, they're probably both telling the truth.
Well, I don't agree with that, but yeah.
Well, whatever. I mean, that
I said I'm taking Patrick's side every day. So
yeah, but I mean, overall, we've presented like a,
sure. Yeah.
I believe to be
Unbiased, whatever.
a somewhat unbiased like take on it. So I think that'll be reflected in the comment section. Whereas if we made content that was like, that motherfucker's lying, he's a piece of shit, I know he's a piece of shit because so and so told me, that's also reflected in the comment section. So it's like, that's why I think when you had magazines, you had less hate going on because the magazines always portrayed the bodybuilders as great.
Yeah.
No,
And
the
I'm
hate
not-
was there. There was just no vessel for people to express themselves.
But I think hate.
So they
builds on
can't
hate,
they
too.
can yell they can't yell at a magazine and get any response from it, right? But
Do you
now
think
that
that's do you
everything
think
is,
that's do you think that's true though, or you think it's because the magazine portrayed them and everybody in such a high stand? You like
no, but
do you wonder sometimes if that's why the 90s is such like the golden era because the magazines portrayed everybody
yeah, but
as
you would
like,
have it's human nature. There would have been people back then that would have been hating on the people who are doing well. There would have been a shit ton of people out there if there was
Imagine.
comment sections saying fucking Dorian sucks, Nasser should have won.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Like
or the Arnold
it's
Mentor
just they
era.
didn't have any vessel or any means to express their opinion other than amongst each other. So you didn't see it.
Right,
And
right,
now
right.
there's this open forum discussion on anything you do at any time, and you're immediately judged
Like that.
off. Like you, the clip could be 15 seconds long. If you saying something that's an idea that expands further and becomes well-rounded and like developed, but you just clip this 15 seconds, and now everyone's like, he's a fucking asshole. He needs to be killed. And then it goes on to be like, but I really enjoyed that, and and then I changed my opinion. But people just focus on like the most negative shit, and then they respond to it.
Yeah.
They don't look for the rest of the story. They don't even want it. They just want to go off what they hear.
I think that hate
Um,
negativity feeds other
Yeah.
fucking hate negativity.
So before we get into New York, I want to get into a few questions and then we'll get into New York just to break it up a bit. I have one question here from this gentleman. He says, why is Mike so awesome? He really is the best.
I know so
I don't know who the fuck I actually blocked him after he wrote that.
No, you don't do that. You don't want to block him. He's a really good guy, that guy.
Mike. Why is it when the questions are coming up, I see like a bunch of awesome ones, and then after they all come in, all the good ones get buried?
Yeah, Instagram.
Okay, this guy says, I like this. I want to talk about this real quick. Being self-made, the topic we talked about. This guy messaged me in my DMs like last week, and I forgot to bring it up. Is there such a thing as being self-made?
Like wealth?
Well, whatever you consider being self-made. Like if
No
you're
man is an island. We all need help.
that's true.
Does-
No, you know
why?
what that
also
you know what being
I also
self-made
think like,
means.
why does it matter? You know,
I think it matters to some people.
but like, what? Because you achieve a level of success, you need to be like, I did it all by myself.
It doesn't have to be angry, but it
No,
could
but I'm
be,
saying like,
it could
we're
just
going
be-
back to like, what, like we're going back to like what Milo said about like you gotta like prove you want your
no,
recognition.
no.
You know?
It can just be objectively true or objectively false.
Sure.
Is being self-made? Can it be objectively true?
Yeah,
Like,
but
can
you have to define what that is, because at
Yeah.
some
Well,
point
okay,
somewhere
so-
along the line, someone helped you out. Like either your
Yeah.
parents, either someone encouraged you, either someone like gave you that loan or gave you that opportunity you would have never gotten if you didn't know a certain somebody, or like all these things add up. There's no such thing as like
That's what I'm getting at.
self-made.
That's what I'm getting at. I think I agree with Mike. Does anybody else disagree with that?
There's got to be some assistance along the way.
Does anybody ever do you know anybody in your personal life that is successful that had zero help? Zero that you know of.
No.
No, and even the most successful people would tell you that they've had help.
Yeah.
They'd be like, yeah, I had great people like show me the way.
They
or
would be
guide
the
me.
people that are the most ample to say that.
You know what's funny? This kid asked me the broadest question, and I fucking rattled off the greatest answer ever. Like, and I just thought of it because of this.
Catch at the right time.
He came up to me. He was standing in line waiting for Sam, and he goes, "I'm a business major. Can you tell me like something really good about business?" And I was like, "Well, fuck, man, that's a really broad question. Like, I don't know how to what do you want me to do? Like, wake up every day and go to work? Like, that's the same." He's like, "No, do you have any?" I'm like, "Okay, I'll give you something I learned. Let other people that do things better than you do them and get out of their fucking way."
100%.
And I just thought of that now because of what you guys are saying, because if you're successful ever, then you've had people help you that are fucking way better at something than you are.
Yeah. And I guess that's kind of what I was trying to say at the beginning of like the who cares of like, why do you need to like, I think it's a good like thing to let people help you, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think, you know, all of us, like if we need help with something, if we're trying to grow our businesses, like I'm doing my app, you guys all repost it. I
Right,
wouldn't want to be like, I did it all by myself. It's like, no, you guys are my friends. You help me. If it succeeds well, there's a level of, hey, you guys helped me build that. I'm thankful for what you guys did and the reposting. You didn't have to do that, but you're my friends and you helped me. It's like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, I did it all by myself. Nobody helped me. It's like, no, I have friends with outlets and I have, you know, friends with tools. I have friends that are good at certain things that, like you said, that I'm not good at. You know, I'm not a business guy. I'm not a finance guy. I'm not a marketing guy. I'm a bodybuilder, you know, and I'm going to obviously want people that have a different or better skill set in certain aspects than I do to take the reins on those things. And I think that's the way that you get really good growth on things, you know, is like, just like you said.
This is my answer to people when they say, should I get a coach? It's the same philosophy. Like, do you need a coach? Well, this person has probably coached, depending on who you hire. If he's coached 1,000 fucking people, he probably has more answers than you do when you really need them.
Yes.
But if we take this question into the bodybuilding sense, though, just take bodybuilding. Can you be like, is Dorian Yates self-made? He never had a coach.
He had a training partner.
He had training partner.
Yeah.
He had training partners. He probably had friends that he would ask drug questions to, or people that maybe he learned a style of training to when he was younger, you know, whatever. Like, but this is where it's all coming down to, what is the definition of self-made?
Yeah.
You know, like if you have a training partner, can you still be self-made or not? Like if you had assistants, you know, if Milos answered one drug question for you, are you not drug-made now? You're self-made now?
Wait a minute. What if
you can only be self-made if you're like in this sport? It's probably the closest you can say to being self-made in terms of your physical ability, because no one lifted a weight for you. And no one made you do those reps, right? Like, even if you have
my buddy did a couple of my shots for me back in the day, you know, so.
Yeah.
Well, I painted Fouad a few times.
I won my shows when I wasn't training with Paul. So Paul actually hindered my training.
Yeah. You keep saying this, Fouad, but
does that mean I'm
how do you think you got there, for one thing? It wasn't
Paul
just
giving you some favors.
My career went like this when I went to train by my. No, I'm just joking. No, okay, I agree with you guys. I just want to see what everybody would say. If you could only date women in one female category for the rest of your life, what would it be? I don't know what that means.
Race?
I don't know.
Race?
I don't know. We're talking about bodybuilding? Or are they talking about like?
Oh, in one category.
I'm wondering if he's talking about
like
bodybuilding.
category?
Bodybuilding? Okay, sure.
Oh.
What are you picking?
Wellness.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I feel like I have to say figure because my wife.
You do have to say figure.
Yeah, you do. Well, you gotta say.
It is my favorite class either way, but I mean, we can't deny that there's some fucking crazy female wellness bodies, you know.
How does the bros deal with everyday challenges of being leading men in their family lives? If it does become too much, what do you do to help deal with it? Paul, you're the only one with a family. Drugs and alcohol.
You know what I do. That's when Daddy's got to go to the garage. That's when Daddy's got to go.
I'm having a rough go. I take some drugs and try and forget about it, guys.
Yeah, it's nothing a Percocet can't fix.
Yeah. Sorry, girls. Daddy's got to take the garbage out. Come back 10-15 minutes later in a better mood.
Dad, did you run into a skunk outside?
I wash my hands, Mike, so I'm usually pretty good on that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
That's what you think.
Smoking in the garage is like billowing into the house. They're like in the living room.
I cracked the door like this much.
You can't smell it. It's so funny, like, and I'm maybe, you know, how naive we are to this stuff sometimes. Like, you know, when I was young and I would like be out with my buddies, you know, and we like fucking be smoking cigarettes and shit. And I'd come home and I'd like spray Axe on, brush my teeth, like chew gum. And I'd come home and be like, my mom can't smell it. Like, you know, 100% every single time she knew, you know.
Can I tell you this story?
Every single time, 100%.
I was 15 years old and we lived, Paul knows, Riverside. The Riverside area was about, I don't know, half an hour, 25-minute drive by car from South Windsor. So we lived in South Windsor, or no, we lived at Riverside at the time, and I was in South Windsor. I'm at this party. I'm 15 years old. First time I drank. I don't remember the exact number. I think I drank like 10 or 12 or something shots of Southern Comfort in like half an hour.
You fucking threw up everywhere.
15 years old.
I remember, still remember this to this day. I was laying on my back and I remember throwing up and it coming back on my face.
Oh.
I remember calling my mom. I tried to like sober up and like brush my teeth and like wash my face and
I
like
had the exact same stories.
yeah. And I called my mom like, can you come get me? Like I don't know how I'm gonna get home. So her and my dad come pick me up. They pretended the whole ride home that I didn't do anything wrong. I told them I'm like, oh, I feel sick. They're like, yeah, okay. And I sat in the back seat, probably reeking of fucking booze.
Oh yeah,
but they didn't say a fucking word to me, and I slept it off, and it never came back. It never came up, and I'm shocked why my dad didn't beat me. I was like, why didn't my dad beat me senseless? I don't remember why. Like I didn't get my ass kicked.
Yeah,
but there's no way he couldn't have smelt it.
You know what it probably was?
They always
same thing happened to me. You're the youngest. By the time they got to you, they're probably tired.
They're tired.
My brothers beat up my parents. By the time they got to me, there's no parenting left.
I know that's true. No, I got some beatings, but not by the time I was 15. He was a little tired. I got beatings when I was younger.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ian. Sorry.
No, I mean I have like almost the exact same story. Like one day, out drinking with my buddies, and then the next day, I like snuck in home late at night, and then the next day I had to work. My mom's driving me to work. I worked at like the running room or something, like when I was young, a running store. And my mom was driving me to work, and we got 5 minutes out of the driveway. I'm like, you got to pull over. I fucking threw up everywhere on the side of the road. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just not feeling good today. Like I must have something bad, And I ended up calling in sick to work. I didn't end up going to work and like pretending like I was fucking sick. It's 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm throwing up. Like clearly I'm hungover.
Yeah, I think the smoking too, man. Because like my mom would always be like, because she didn't want me to smoke, so I would smoke, and then I would spray.
Blame it on your friends.
I'd spray cologne on my fingers.
Yeah, obviously.
But I'd get home and she'd be like,
"That should do it."
So my mom
why
would
do you
be
smell
like,
so much like cigarettes? I'm like, oh, I was with whatever.
No,
whatever they were smoking.
I was at a smoky bar.
I've done that one too. But I'd walk in and my mom would be like, "You smell like smoke." I'm like, "No, I don't." She'd be like, "Let me smell your fingers." I'm like, so I go like this, and she's like, "Why is there cologne on your fingers?"
I was fingering girls, mom.
Yeah,
that's not cologne, mom.
Yeah. Anyway, do you think Flex Lewis would have won an Olympia? An open Olympia, sorry.
No, I think he could be competitive in it, but I think, who at the time who was winning Olympias? Phil Heath?
Phil,
you know what I mean?
No, but let's just pretend fast forward he was there last year. Would he have beat Derek?
Oh, Samson.
I don't know.
I think
tough.
It's funny. People are getting
because the thing is Flex if he came in like for the Open, like I know he had to restrict himself in the off seasons and look, we saw how much Derek changed from like year 1 to year 2 to
Yep.
So yeah, I mean maybe if we're not talking about competing in the same era against whatever great champion, against like look, do I think he would have beaten like primetime Ramy or Phil? No. Do I think he, when right now we've been flip-flopping a little bit, like there was the Brandon, there's the Hottie, and do I think he could be competitive? Yeah. But I also think that Hottie would be a real good Hottie would be a lot for Flex to handle,
I don't know. The one thing I think is like if you try and picture in your mind, all you can picture is 212 Flex.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's always held himself back. So what's 235 or 240 Flex look like? Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And, as a bodybuilding fan, it's unfortunate we never got to see that.
Yeah. You never know. Maybe he'll get the itch. He'll come back.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that'd be great. But like, it would have been great to see him though when he was talking about it a few years ago. Before I think did he have a shoulder operation after that?
I don't remember. I know he always had trouble eating and stuff. I don't remember if it was I think it was just a time with the family kind of thing. I don't think it was a health issue.
I thought there was an injury in there too. He had to have surgery on something.
He probably had a nagging injury. I don't remember him having like a surgery tomorrow kind of injury.
No. Well, anyway, it's too bad.
I could be wrong though. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay. If you just got out of the shower and farted, would you get back in the shower again or just keep going?
Absolutely.
If I shit, I go back in the shower.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah. I don't like to shit after the shower.
I get back in, do a good waffle stomp,
A what?
Waffle stomp.
We learned what a waffle stomp was.
I never learned what that is. What is it?
It's where you take a shit.
Stop the shit through the fucking shower grate.
Oh, you guys were talking about that in that group chat. Jesus.
Yeah. If I have to shit, I don't shit in the toilet and get back in the shower. I just shit in the shower and waffle stomp it.
What if you've gotten out already and you've already
I get back in the shower to shit?
What if the chunks are too big, Ian?
You take the shower head off and you fucking get it high pressure in there.
And that'll liquefy it to get it down the drain?
No, he stomps it with his
stomp
foot.
on it. Yeah, like
you
a
stomp
fire.
on it.
Oh, that's nasty.
And then just wash your foot.
I threw up in the shower a couple weeks ago. I just
Did you really? Why?
Yeah.
Dude, what? Threw
Threw
up?
up in the shower. Yeah, yeah.
Why?
I think I just overate. Remember I had those hiccups?
I overate.
Yeah, remember I had those hiccups?
You ate to the point that you threw up?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Wait,
I had
stop trying
those-
to change the subject. You got a problem here, Paul.
You ever get
Yeah,
those hiccups?
I was-
No. What are you talking about?
Couple
Don't you
weeks
guys-
ago, I had hiccups for like 48 hours straight from binging.
Mike,
So-
weren't you on the podcast with us when he was talking about having hiccups for like a day straight?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he said, Mike, the best part was he said, I got it to go away by eating more.
Yeah, temporarily. I did. Pizza. Temporarily.
Hair the dog with hiccups, you know?
Exactly, yeah. I went on a bad binge there a couple weeks ago, but I've had it much under control since.
What's a bad binge for you?
Fucking right before bed, fucking eating a bunch of chocolate and donuts and cookies and shit like that. And then I threw some pizza in there too, and all that. I think all that, like, you know, all those stuff like carbs and sugar just fucked me up, and it's happened before.
So you're showering. So you're Mike's dying.
I just picture like he's just standing there watching.
Yeah. That's what
like
happened.
washing it down. Oh, fucking not again.
I
So
had to
wait a
scoop something
second.
out.
Wait a second. Oh, were you shower?
Yeah.
Is it like projectile vomit or like
No,
you just drool it out?
Yeah, no, I just bent over. And,
No. I was going to ask you. Is it like you got up at 5 a.m. for work and that's when it happened?
no, it was at night. It was must have been like around.
Oh, it was like
probably 11.
right. It was like right after you ate.
Okay, I got to back up a little bit because no, there's more to it. I started binging the first night, and then I got the hiccups, and then the next day it kind of went away a little bit during the day, and then I binged again, and it came back.
Are you at work when this is happening too?
No, I wasn't. Thank God. No.
He's like at the thing. He's like, "Can I see your passport?"
Yeah.
Grady, you're gonna fucking throw up on me.
You got anything in the trunk?
What the fuck, man?
Any firearms?
They get bad. I'll get like 10 in a row, like nonstop. It's like a spasm. I can't even breathe for like a few seconds.
You guys should get that checked out, man. That's not good.
Oh, it's gone now.
Sounds
Well,
like dry heaves, not hiccups.
Yeah, I hate it. No,
So the
somebody
next
sent me
night.
a-
So finish the story. The next night.
So then, yeah, so it came back again the next night, and then I got it to go away for a little while when I
How?
binged again
How?
by eating pizza, but I chewed it really slow. So I think that's part of the problem. I'm not chewing enough. That's part of the problem, I think. And I wanted to take a shower because I was sweating, and then I threw up in the shower. Then I felt a little bit better after that.
Wait, what? You ate so much that you were sweating. So you're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go take a shower.
Yeah.
Why don't you just stop eating, man? What's wrong with
I
you?
gotta get it when I'm on a binge. I gotta eat it all because I don't want to be in the house the next day.
Just
So I
throw it
gotta get
away.
rid of it.
Just
No,
throw it out.
So I try to space it out so I eat it all, and then
Paul, I think you're worse than I am.
That's
But I
bad for
don't-
you, man. You
but I
shouldn't
don't
do
eat the quantity of food that you do, Fouad.
I eat more than you, but I know when to
Way more.
stop.
I
that. Yeah,
know
but
when
he's
to
also 40 pounds bigger than you.
stop. Not anymore. It's like 20 pounds now.
Closing
Ian.
the gap now.
Yeah, finally, all these years I finally caught him.
No, but actually that I do know when to stop. When I'm like, I don't like to like eat till I feel sick. Like that's
I
crazy.
didn't feel sick. I just had
Wow.
these hiccups that were really annoying.
Well, I mean, overfilled is okay, but sick
Oh,
is
yeah.
another level.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Favorite moment in bodybuilding? Not your bodybuilding.
Ever?
Somebody else's bodybuilding. Yes.
Why? Can it be my own bodybuilding? I'm
No,
selfish.
because I don't. Okay, let's talk about
I
yourself.
care about other people.
No, because-
I'm self-made, bro. It's all
No,
about
because that's too easy. That's why. Make it about somebody else.
I gotta blow my nose a moment.
Sure you do.
Melissa winning her first pro show.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Mike?
or turning pro. It was actually more exciting when she turned pro because, to be honest, I told her after prejudging she wasn't going to win. So when she ended, I told her, I was
Why
like,
would
"Look,
you do that?
well, I just wanted to set
Just
her
prepare-
expectations.
You're
'cause-
preparing her. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think she was going to win. I was very honest with her. I was like, "Look, you look awesome, but you're definitely out muscled by some of these girls. I don't know which way they're going to go. So just be prepared that this could not go your way. Like I think you
Was
did everything you could, but she ended up winning the overall at Canadian Nationals.
Yeah, but were the callouts like, was she in the middle? Was it close, or like were you just like they trick you guys?
Yeah, like they moved them around a bit, and she was like kind of near the middle, but there was another girl that looked really good and was a lot more muscular than her. So it was hard for me to kind of tell. And I wasn't like rude about it. I was like, look, you look
Of
fucking
course you
awesome.
weren't. No, I get it.
Yeah, I was like,
There was-
just,
but-
just set. I was setting your expectations, and
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think she was going to win. I thought she was like second or third, and not because I didn't think I personally thought she looked the best, but there was such a variance between them. I was like, okay, yeah, this is if they're going to have another girl this muscular in here, it seems like they're going that way, you know.
But I think when Melissa won, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it when Aaron Stern and Nicole Wilkin were winning the Olympias at that time?
Just on the outset of it.
Yeah.
So it
that,
was like kind of the transition period. That's why I was kind of like,
yeah.
okay, I don't know.
But they wanted
you know?
smaller. They wanted smaller girls then. They didn't want like Jack.
Well, they were
chicks.
starting to. Bigger girls were starting to win
come back.
shows.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of like, I don't know which way they're going to go with this, and I kind of was like, I'm not sure what's going to happen tonight. It might not go your way, so just kind of be prepared for that. I didn't want to like gas her and be like, you got this, and then her be disappointed.
Yeah, it's always better to set expectations.
But then she came back that night and won her class, and then won the overall. And I was like, holy fuck, this is crazy sick. So
Which was
the show Melissa got a pro card at the Canadian Nationals.
I judged her at the Ontario's.
Did you put her in last?
At the time, I didn't know of Ian and Melissa, so I had
You
no...
didn't you?
She
won the overall.
Yeah, she won the overall.
But did you vote for her to win the overall?
I believe I did.
I don't think you did. I think you're fucking lying.
From whatever call, she was a clear winner.
Mike,
I do think at that provincial she was a clear winner.
Yeah.
Mike, your favorite moment in bodybuilding outside of your own career?
Even if I included my own career, my favorite moment was when Jerome finally won his pro card.
Oh, because you were coaching him, right?
Yeah, well, I wasn't dieting in that year. Aceto was.
Yeah,
but I was training him. Had been training him for like 3 years, and we kept going. After Darren passed away, I started training him. So we're kind of like going on this, like trying to get to the end of this road of like achieving what it is that they were trying to achieve, and we finally did it. So I was more gassed about that than I was even about winning my own pro cards.
that's awesome.
It meant a lot more.
Paul?
Your first pro win.
Yeah,
I flew down for that.
You were pretty hyped for that.
Yeah, I flew down for that. It was Ian's pro debut too. Little did I know at that time.
That's why you were there, really, is for Ian.
Yeah. But I remember that was like a last minute flight.
He heard about some cute blonde guy was in the show. So
I had to see with my own eyes. But because I made the decision like last minute, Tony and I, to fly down for that too.
Yeah. That was hilarious. There was rows of seating because it was just like it was a regular like floor with like just
it was like in an expo center.
Yeah, it was like it was like the fold out chairs. So there was like 4 rows of fold out chairs, and then there was like Paul and Tony were sitting there. And so I win, they call my name, and all you see is Paul like flinging chairs out of the way.
To get on stage.
Beelining for the front of the stage, just throwing chairs like fucking left and right.
That's a fucking friend there.
That was pretty fucking awesome, man. I felt that was awesome for me, for you. I was like, yeah, we finally got one.
Yep.
Took me long enough, but I got one.
Yeah.
Anyway, my favorite moment, I think this is going to sound really fucking sappy, but it was one of two things. Either when Samson won the Arnold, like I was fucking over the moon, that it was crazy.
Yeah.
Or, this year, the Arnold this year in the UK, watching Samson pose, I don't know, man, something about, he just posted that routine online and it brought me back.
That was good, man. I got chills watching that. That was like such an exciting moment.
It brought me back to the auditorium watching and I was like, it's such a fucking emotional like routine for some reason.
Yeah.
It wasn't this, it was like the song and the atmosphere and him and like
the whole thing was
perfect.
The whole thing
was perfect. I don't.
Yeah.
See, I have a few. I don't know. Fucking John at the Arnold Columbus might have been a big one for me because I helped him put together his posing routine for that show, and it was like his first time at the Arnold's, and he was really like, that was like his dream was just to be on stage at the Arnold Columbus. So
I gotta say it is a good memory for me as well too. My last show at Toronto Pro when you were hanging out backstage with me, and we were doing the fucking shots. We were doing shots backstage.
Yeah.
Help me pump up. When I
Yeah,
think of it, that's
good.
one that definitely comes to my mind as well.
Yeah, that felt good. Yeah. They're all fucking. Yeah, there's a bunch. I don't know if I can pick one. Anyway, okay. Hostile booth at the Olympia this year, no, but the Arnold next year. What else? Why does it keep doing that? Fuck off.
What?
It keeps like repeating to the same questions. What's Ian's signature product when he comes to Hostile Gym? He doesn't. He brings raw shit. How did Sam Sulek get so popular? He signed with Hostile.
He knows Ian.
He knows
me.
Ian, that's right. He knows
And I
Ian.
know C-Bum.
Yeah.
Transference.
If you go to a public restroom to go and it smells bad, do you still go or do you hold it?
I put my nose in my shirt.
I put my nose in my shirt too.
I just
Breathe
sit down.
that in.
I did it. I did it
You know
last
what I
night.
have to say, actually, and it made me think of this.
Breathe it in.
It made me
You'll
think
get
of this
used,
is
you'll get
actually-
used to it after about 5 seconds. You'll be
Build
getting nose
immunity.
wine.
You know what actually has to be one of my least favorite things, and I don't know why it actually disgusts me almost more than anything, is peeing on someone else's pee in a toilet.
Yeah, it is gross. No, no,
Like, there's
I'm
pee
with
in
you.
the toilet, and
Yeah.
I'm peeing in it, and I like you waft back their
Yeah.
pee smell by agitating
Oh,
it. I'll literally
yeah.
throw up.
I'm 100% with you on it. Yeah.
Even look like I'll let my wife like piss on me during sex. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't even care.
Same.
But if she peed in the toilet, didn't flush, and her pee's in there, I'll flush it
gross.
before, or
Right.
I'm
Oh,
going
really?
like this and I'm peeing on it. You know,
Oh,
What
really?
if you-
Okay, I could get the strangers, but
What if you
My wife
sit?
don't care.
What
I'll
if
do
you
it for
sit?
anyone. It's disgusting to me.
What if you sit down to pee because then you can't smell it?
Ugh, no, I don't do that. I'm manly enough to not sit down to pee. Only at night with an erection am I attempting to sit down.
Paul, will
that's even
you?
worse, isn't it?
No,
No,
because
because you could like
tuck
you
it under
sit
the
down
seat.
and like lean
Yeah.
forward. Yeah,
If you got to keep your fingers pushing it down, otherwise it's
Yeah,
gonna
of course,
flop
but
up
that's
in the seat.
you're using your hand either way. If you're standing up, you're pointing it down no matter what. So
Yeah.
at least I
You
can
just
sit
gotta,
down.
you just gotta squat wide over the bowl and tip it forward.
Yeah, see, but if I do that at night, I used to do that, but then I wake up in the morning and I end up having got like half the piss was on the fucking floor and the walls and like, you know,
Yeah,
I
do
think
that
I'm
all
getting
the
in the toilet and it sounds like it, but there's still too much missing.
time.
So if
Yeah.
I sit down, at least it's contained, you know?
Yeah, I
I
agree.
stand too far back sometimes.
Yeah.
Why? What are you trying to like?
I don't know. I'm not really paying attention. So that'll take a when I do, then I'll take a
Hey,
step
Paul,
forward.
would you ever let your wife piss on you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Bag her two for 15 years.
That was so fast. I didn't even get the question out yet. Oh, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I thought so. Okay.
Technically, squirting is peeing. So
Yeah, but peeing is different. She's like, I gotta piss, and you're like, all right.
Just
same type
just
of
lay
shit.
on the floor and let them squat on you and just
Yeah.
fucking let it flow.
With that,
don't wanna
with
do-
that,
I don't wanna
hard,
do
with
the-
that hard stream on there.
Push, push it out, just like
Nowhere near the face though.
No,
not in the face.
you don't want it on your hair and like washing down.
Women,
Paul-
women
Paul's
piss.
have any hair.
Women,
Yeah, I got
No,
No, but like
Piss
you don't
with
want it like
velocity.
you don't want it streaming over your head.
No, I don't want it in my head though.
Where do you want it?
Yeah.
Just on your body?
Anywhere on the torso.
What if it hits your chest and splashes on your face?
Well, I don't. Yeah, I prefer it doesn't like a little lower. You know?
have you seen the velocity a woman's piss comes out of her vagina though? It's fast.
It's
It
impressive.
is. Yeah, it's a strong stream.
fun.
Yeah, so there's going to be some splashing for sure. But if we
You're
keep
gonna
it
be like-
down, I shouldn't get hit in the
like
face.
this.
Yeah, I'll just keep my hands like this.
You're gonna try and fight it, but it's gonna get everywhere.
Yeah. I'm probably getting shit for this
What's
conversation.
wrong with you? You guys are fucked. Your wife has to have the same style hair down there as she has
Wait.
on her head.
So
get to-
can I
you-
interrupt quickly?
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of this? Heard of this boner honey before?
No.
Oh, what is it?
What?
Is it like
You look-
Viagra?
You
It's
dip your-
little
dip your
packets
boner
that
in.
look like ketchup packets from like the fucking McDonald's of a honey that has like Cialis in it.
No way.
This is apparently like a big thing in Indian culture. One of my buddies told me.
I know there's like these little rocks.
It's called like just type in boner honey.
I did.
Yeah, there you go. What's it called? That's it there. The top
X-rated.
first one.
The royal
first
jelly?
one. That one. That's it. Royal honey. Yeah.
So what do? You
So
just
it's
spread
just
it on your
crushed
dick?
up.
No,
It's
you
just cr-
you eat it. It's just honey. You just fucking squirt
Oh.
the pack in your mouth.
Oh, I thought you put it on your dick.
No, it's
Yeah,
it's
so did
it's
I.
like-
That's what
yeah,
I
no,
thought.
you just ingest it and it's fucking gives you a boner, but it's
So it's a
honey.
faster delivery for like just Viagra.
I don't know. It's
crushed
a
up
strange
into
thing.
gel.
And maybe people in the comments, if you guys have used this or heard of this, I didn't know this was a thing. I just learned this on Saturday.
Let's
Yeah,
see
but
the
I'm like,
ingredients,
Because
Red.
the sugar, it hits your bloodstream quick.
Right? Yeah, delivery.
Yeah,
Let's
Royal
see the
Honey
ingredients,
VIP
Red.
contains hidden drug ingredients. See, FDA laboratory analysis confirmed.
That
you know?
Royal Honey VIP contains tadalafil.
That's
The active
Cialis.
ingredient Cialis. I know. FDA approved prescription drug erectile dysfunction. Yeah, but it's not approved. That's why they're saying it.
Well, a lot
Yeah,
of
but
these.
I'm saying this is hilarious. You can buy packs of honey with fucking Cialis in it.
Well, a lot of the gas station boner pills have Cialis in them too. They just finally they get pulled after a little while.
Yeah.
It's from 2017, this article.
Yeah.
I don't see. I'll just take the fucking pill. What's like? Why am I buying this?
I just thought it was interesting. It's crazy that someone's out there selling packs of honey with fucking Cialis in it. You know,
It's on Amazon.
Oh, well.
Crazy.
Horny goat weed.
Super ultimate strength.
Wow.
Huh.
Oh,
3,600 milligrams
The jar will last you a while.
in the whole container. Honey stinger. Huh. I gotta try this.
Yeah.
I actually just want to try to see if it works.
I mean,
All
I
right.
don't see why I wouldn't. You know,
Your wife
Sorry,
has to have
hair up there, hair down there. Yeah.
your wife has to have the same hairstyle down there as she has on her head. You get to pick what hairstyle she is rocking. Well,
Already
Mike's got it made.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike's good.
So wait, say that question again, Fouad.
Like if your
not
wife has a
complicated,
like
Paul.
if your wife has a ponytail, she has to have a ponytail for a bush.
What if your wife just has straight hair?
Then she has a straight bush.
Straight long hair. Then
Then
now.
to find her vagina, you have to part the hair.
Yeah.
It's like a curtain, like cousin it. You know,
I think I want my wife to have a ponytail.
so it'd be just above her vagina
You
and like
can lift it up.
Yeah. I just
You
go like
ever want
this,
to tie it up?
You just
Oh, yeah,
move it over. Just
Yeah.
like
yeah.
a braided ponytail. I just move it.
Like a tail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
guess I'd
my
do
wife's
that.
hair is she's got naturally curly hair then. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's long. But it's long.
How long are you talking? Is it contained
No,
into
the
pubic
same
area?
exact hair.
whatever's
What
up
do you
here
want
is
her
the
hair to
same
look
down
like?
there.
Yeah,
How
but
long
I'm
do you
saying
want her
though,
hair?
but what I'm saying though, is it clean underneath? Is it just the top that's got the patch?
Okay, let's say let's say it is. Let's say your wife's hair is like this long. So basically her bush is gonna hang between your legs.
But what I'm asking you to define is the bush itself. Is it just above the?
Yes,
Oh, or is it
vagina?
let's say the
Or is it
vagina.
all encompassing the
No,
vagina?
Yeah,
let's say the vagina's clean, but
Okay.
the hair is this long. So like the bush hair is like hanging down like between her legs.
Well, it's gonna get in the way. Yeah, I wouldn't want it that long.
But if you give her a buzz cut, then she's gonna have a buzz cut walking around every day.
I wonder what Melissa would look like with like a short hair. I don't know if
Yeah,
that would
Tony
work
too.
for her, but I'd be interested to try it. You know,
Yeah, you were
just
happy.
go absolutely just chrome dome. She can just wear wigs. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a
No,
new
that's
girl,
cheating.
New girl every day.
That's
Yeah.
cheating. The wig is the same shit. That's the
Sure.
cheating. You can't cheat like that.
What if she wears a
why
hat?
she still has to have a fucking bald head under it.
No, she has to. Whatever she's rocking in public is what is down
No,
there.
she's wearing a red wig. She's got a big old red bush. Yeah,
Yes.
I would go with short hair then.
How short? Like here?
Well, like a
but it's
you know,
still
like
so
a,
long down there.
I know.
like
Can you
a-
imagine
yeah, I
like
know.
that? You know?
like, but it's just
no,
above.
no hair
It's just
other than
above.
like cat level short is going to
Yeah,
make a
it's
difference.
not gonna
from-
work.
Like even
Yeah.
if your hair's to here, like this long of hair on a fucking vagina is like
Yeah.
I
halfway
don't
down
think
your
so, yeah.
thigh.
I don't think
You
so
know?
because it's gonna it's not gonna grow down if it's curly. It's just gonna kind of puff. So I think you could have a couple inches. it's
That's
gonna be a
almost
puff.
worse though. That's almost worse.
No, that's okay. I think that's okay.
No,
So,
like
if
how
she's
she's
there-
going through that
she-
foliage. That's
As
She's
long as
there
it's not
just
wet.
brushing her vagina hair. Like,
that's a lot of foliage, Paul.
There
You're
might
gonna
be
have
some
to get
grooming.
through there.
So if
Pardon?
she's wearing underwear, the bush is just coming out of the top of her underwear.
yeah, you
Well,
can't go to the beach ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit is
Well, you actually have to wear like a one piece. But you could
No.
have like I think you could if you
No,
could
it wouldn't
contain it.
work.
If you could contain it to like I don't want to do it with my hand. If you can contain it like like
I don't know what you're talking about. Show me with your hand.
like a puff, like a puff,
Can you draw us a diagram?
It's not a puff, Paul. You're saying a puff like this big. If her
That would mean
hair,
her hair is like this on her head. Like
yeah, that's
Oh,
it.
I thought you just meant like the length of the hair on the head has to be the same length.
No,
down there.
it's the same hairstyle.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay. I misunderstood. Then yeah, you can't. You got to go bald.
So what are you gonna go? Paul?
She's gonna have to shave herself. Yeah, she's gonna have to shave her head.
What are you doing, Fouad?
I told
Just
you,
the
it's
ponytail?
The ponytail,
shaves
yeah.
his wife's hair to sleep.
I'm doing the ponytail. I'm good with it.
Ponytail, eh?
Braided ponytail though, so it doesn't like go all over. I can just move it.
Like some cornrows?
Yeah, I just move it to the side. It's out of the way.
Some braids.
But it'd be heavy. Fall down.
Cornrowed vagina. That'd
What do you
be-
mean? What do you mean?
I could do it. I could do it like some like French the two French braids on the side that
Yeah.
come down around it.
You wrap it
know?
around your dick when you're banging her.
Yeah, you like hold it, like wrap around, hold it, just like
holding onto a saddle, the pommel
like,
of a
yeah,
saddle.
like stirrups, like saddle.
Can
Yeah,
you imagine how bad that would hurt if you wrapped your hands around
Oh,
her
man.
pubic hair?
wrap around.
Oh my god. if all the podcast members had to pick their WWE counterpart, who is it? Paul. I'm tag teaming with Paul.
Or is it? Oh, you have to like pick
I
a
thought
WWE character.
I think they meant Fouad. You have to find a corresponding figure that matches your personality from WWE.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't watch
Like
enough
you'd be Hulk
WWE to
Hogan.
know.
You'd be Hulk Hogan.
I'd probably be The Rock. He's a lot like I am. We look the same.
Fucking
I don't know
twins.
enough about wrestling to pick somebody. I don't.
Yeah, I don't follow it anymore.
Go
Cena.
back.
If we go back to old wrestlers,
I still don't know enough about wrestling to remember their fucking
Yeah, it could be
personalities.
Scotty Too Hottie or Grandmaster Sexy.
Well, you'd be the Iron Sheik for
Iron
sure.
Sheik
Be the
Fouad.
Oh,
Iron
yeah,
Sheik.
you'd be Iron
Yeah, let's be racist, everybody. Let's be you
The
racist
shoe fits, brother.
motherfuckers.
Paul's hacksaw Jim Duggan. If he had hair.
Mike's Sergeant Slaughter. That's the Mike
Yeah.
Sergeant.
For sure.
No, he's
Yeah,
Bam Bam
yeah.
Bigelow. Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah.
There you
Oh
go.
yeah.
And
And,
Ian's
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 Sid-
Mr.
Ian's,
Wonderful.
Sid Justice.
Ian's Shawn
Sid
Michaels.
Justice.
No,
Ian's
Ian's
Shawn
Mr.
Michaels.
Wonderful.
Sid Justice.
Mr. Wonderful. That's Ian.
Okay, yeah.
He's always flexing and shit. Thinks he's hot as fuck. That's Ian.
Look
I'll
at
take
Sid
it.
Justice. Show us a picture of Sid Justice.
All
That's
right,
Ian.
let's look at Sid Justice.
It might be Sid. Yeah, it's Sid Justice. He had the Gary curl. He was fucking massive.
Oh, that's Ian for sure. And he was kind of a dick, right?
He was a villain. This dude
Oh yeah,
Oh, this guy.
kicked the shit out of people.
yeah. This is
Yeah,
me all
I
day
remember
here.
Okay, I got
You gotta find a Paul Orndorff.
this is fucking Ian right here.
Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah.
No, I'm taking Mike's.
Oh, look at him now. Jeez. He was my
That'd be
hero.
Brock Lesnar.
Pull up the Iron Sheik.
Yeah, he just died recently.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh my God. Literally, that's exactly like you. That could be you.
I'm gonna grow. You know what? Next time we lose a bet, I have to grow this mustache.
For sure.
Yeah. I'll remember you said that.
And get pointy
Right.
shoes like that.
You know what? Paul actually might be one of the bushwhackers. He'd be better as a bushwhacker.
Those guys look like they're retarded.
No.
Isn't it? Yeah. No.
I'm a lot leaner too, Mike.
There's Mike. Boom.
Bam,
right
bam,
there.
Bigelow.
That's me. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
You got the tats and everything. Okay. What else? How to decide if it's time for you to stop competing.
Wherever the
That's
fuck
a
you feel
tough-
like it, homie.
That's a tough one. No, I don't think that's true, Ian.
Well, I mean, it's a completely personal decision. You can compete until you want to compete.
Right, but I don't think that's what they're asking. I'm saying like
Should you?
I think they're saying I think they're saying like what factors would go into making you want to
Or
retire.
health number one.
Health and enjoyment is the only.
I guess
thing
I
that
guess
matters.
I guess what I'm taking from this question, because obviously 99% of our listeners are not pros.
Mm.
So if somebody was an amateur and they came to me and said, "Hey, when should I stop doing this?" I would be like, "Well, do you have your finances in order? Do you own a home? Are you sacrificing a relationship potentially? Like,
Got a job.
do you have any prospect of potentially turning pro and earning any money? Like, all these things have to factor into the decision. Like, if you're 30 fucking 8 years old and you don't own a home, you don't have
of course.
you don't have a wife, you don't have, and these are things you want, say, and you don't have them because you spent all your time bodybuilding, you probably should reevaluate what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like
For
when
me, it was
go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
for me it was having kids.
That
Because,
was it for you.
Yeah, because I knew when I dieted, I got miserable. And
Yeah.
I knew I was going to get miserable if I dieted again. And I didn't want to be miserable around my kids or my wife.
Yeah.
So, and I knew I wasn't going pro. I knew I wasn't going to be like anything in bodybuilding. So for me, you weigh that and you're like, it's not worth it for me anymore.
But I think, dude, you're a good dad. Like, you're with your kids all the time. I think it was more a selfish thing too. Like, it was a time away.
But I think, had I decided to keep going with bodybuilding, because maybe, and I might have made a decision if I would became a dad, 5-10 years earlier, I
Yeah.
might have made the decision to keep competing. I don't think I'd be as good of a dad because I would have been too.
That's my point, though, because you'd be too wrapped up
Right.
in the thing to like spend all the time you spend with your kids.
Speaking of, I think they actually, I don't know if Paul, is this true? Did you hear of this, that they've changed men's masters to 35 now as well?
Yeah. I'm a grandmaster though. I'm 50. Well,
No, I'm not saying for you, but I'm saying.
Oh yeah. They did that.
They did just change it, right?
Yeah, well, they've been doing that in the US for a little while. North
No,
America
I
has
know that,
always
but
offered
Canada
it.
was 40 still.
Yeah,
Why
this
did they?
year, starting this year.
I don't feel like that's a good thing. I don't.
No,
Why
like
did they do
35
that?
is bodybuilding prime. It's not
I
masters.
know
That's
that's what
crazy.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
So now you can have 35 and up, 40 and up, 45 and up, 50 and up,
Yeah.
however the promoter chooses to
My
have it now.
opinion, it doesn't matter what my opinion is. IFBB can do whatever they want. But my opinion of it is like masters should be where your prime is over.
Yeah. 40
So-
to start masters and then
Yeah.
grandmasters 50. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Women have always been 35. I don't know if everyone knows that.
Yeah, I do
Women
know
have-
that, but
Texas.
I think it's different for women. I think they're bought.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually
Yeah.
scientifically correct, but I feel like maybe their prime is earlier.
Perhaps, but it's always been 35 for women and then 45 for grandmasters for women, whereas men has always been 40 and 50. But yeah, this is the first year.
Hey, you
of
know what? I'm
35.
kind of interested to know that. I wonder if women's prime physical.
Well, I think you also take
Abilities.
into account that the age that women are generally having children.
No, I was thinking that, but I want to eliminate that for a minute. Like a guy's like what I've noticed, and I don't know if this is true or not. What I've noticed is most bodybuilders' prime is in like the 32 to 35 year range,
Yeah, I would agree.
somewhere in there. So I'm like, what is it for women? Is it when they're like 25 to 30? Because that's what it feels like. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, like if you're a
Yeah.
woman and you're watching this, tell me what you think.
Well, and I wonder when those rules were made, like why, what factored into that. I'm sure children were one of the biggest factors to consider for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did we get there?
Um,
How did we
You
get there?
asked it. What was your last question?
Oh, how should you decide if you stop competing?
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't say the rules for anybody because everybody's life's different. I guess what I would say is if you're foregoing having a good life and your life is going in the wrong direction, you should reevaluate unless you're certain you can turn pro and make money. Like for me, I'll give you an example. Like for me, when I was 26, it was my third class win at the Nationals, but I missed the pro card. So I was like, the next year when I went there, I was like, okay, if I don't get it this year, I'm done. I'm 27.
Well, I think the turning pro and only make money thing only applies if you're not making, like if you're, because the financial incentive isn't really an incentive. Like I think if you love it is a bigger incentive than the financial aspect, unless you really have no other financial prospects. But like it's
I don't
not
know if
really a
that's true.
reason. You shouldn't try and bodybuild to make money. You know what I mean?
Okay, I don't think, but I don't know if that's totally true.
And,
I'm not
and
just,
most
but
like if you just turn pro, like that's not going to make you money. Turning pro doesn't make you money. You know?
no, I know, but hold on a minute. I don't mean that just that. I mean, like, I'm not talking about literally just competing. I'm saying if you're going down this road and you're like, I'm going to either make money from fitness on a YouTube channel with a contract from competing, whatever avenue it is, all I'm saying is if it's taking away from the rest of your life and you're not getting ahead anywhere, you should reevaluate.
Yeah.
For me, Ian, for me turning pro at 27, I was guaranteed a contract.
Yeah.
So they're like, so I told myself, I'm like, okay, if I don't turn pro.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that, but you're also like one of the most famous Canadian bodybuilders from an entire country ever. So like you're not the average example of someone turning pro and having success in bodybuilding.
How can I relate this to, okay. So let's say you're 25, let's say you're 35 and you still haven't got your pro card yet. And all of the rest of your life is in shambles. You don't
look, I agree that you should be obviously trying to get the rest of your life, but I'm saying don't keep pursuing it because you think you could make money, you know?
But why else would somebody pursue it if they didn't have another job?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The only reason would be assuming if they didn't have other financial means.
Right. Go ahead, Mike.
If you don't, then yes, obviously that's what I'm saying. You shouldn't be trying to make money from bodybuilding. So you should be sorting out your life and financial means elsewhere, even if you are trying to be a bodybuilder at that age, you know?
But I kind of like, I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, when I did it, I kind of shut all the doors on purpose so that I had to make money.
So did I. Yeah.
Right. So there is a scenario in which that happens.
Yeah, I guess, but you still had other things, like you could have still made money being a coach or doing other things in the industry, you know?
Right.
So I guess if you still do have that available, there is a bit of a safety net there, you know? And I think because you were a popular person and a big name person, even from being an amateur, you had those doors available. Most guys that are competing at the NPC or a Canadian national level have like 4,000 Instagram followers now. Like they're not a name that can go out there and make you know, $500,000 fucking coaching a year or get big contracts or anything like that. And even if they do turn pro, you're probably not going to make any money anyways. So yeah, I do agree in the sentiment that you should always be trying to have some, like, bodybuilding shouldn't be relying on your source of income unless you're like, it's very obvious that it's going to be dictated that way, you know?
Mike, do you have any thoughts on this? If like,
it's also like if you're not honest with yourself, and you don't have enough humility to be like, I'm not good enough at this to make money. Like there's nothing special about me, and no one, not in your mind, that's other people, and like that's being affirmed by you winning shows and creating hype around you. There's all this attention around you, right? Like if that's not happening, it's probably a good idea to get a fucking job and just continue bodybuilding, because bodybuilding on like your guys' level, like this world-class level, yes, requires all this focus and all this time and all this commitment.
This is what I'm
like
trying to say,
someone who's just like coming up and like bodybuilding and hoping that things are gonna lead to something, you need to have a fucking backup plan, bro, because if you're hoping that bodybuilding is going to lead something, it's probably not. You will know pretty fucking quick.
And that's what I'm trying to say. We're like, you and I, like, we weren't really hoping because we kind of knew.
You could see it.
We're like, you know, Paul is wanting to get a career and do these things because he probably didn't think he was going to make a career of bodybuilding. No offense, Paul. But
no,
like,
none taken. And I actually had that moment.
I think he was being defensive.
Where you and I, Fouad, you know, like we didn't have a doubt in our mind that this was an absolute possibility for us.
Yeah.
You know,
when I first got into bodybuilding, I won my first couple shows. I thought I was something special. And Robert Kennedy hand wrote me a letter, tell me that he was watching me. Fouad doesn't believe me. That's a true story. He did. I swear to God, Mike.
His secretary wrote that.
No, it was even signed by Robert Kennedy. She couldn't forge that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I thought I was going to be something with bodybuilding, right? So I put, you know, I was like, that's it. I'm not working, you know, just focusing on my next show. I'm going to go pro. And then I went to my next show which is the Western Ontario's at the time, level 2, and Greg Kovacs was in the show. So and then and Fred Antiwi. So that after that moment, I was like, okay, you know, I'm obviously not a bodybuilder, so I quit. And then I went back, and then I went and got myself a career after that. So I was like, obviously, I'm not doing bodybuilding for a living.
See, I think it's easier for, you know, me and Fouad to look like with rose-colored glasses back in it, because we always knew we were going to be, and we always were from the beginning, great bodybuilders. I literally never lost an amateur show my entire life. I fucking steamrolled every show I ever did as an amateur.
Paul
like,
laughed at me,
and I'm not saying that's normal, but like still, you know.
When I say you'll know whether you're on the right path or not.
You will know.
It's
like
pretty fucking obvious. You shouldn't be grinding out.
No,
trying to
there's no one that's
pro card into your 40s.
Yeah, look, there is some exceptions. Like, you know, look, Nick Walker wasn't an exceptional bodybuilder when he started, you know, and I think if a lot of people had looked at him then and where he is now, they probably would have been like, this guy's going nowhere in bodybuilding, and he fucking stuck it out and believed himself. So, you know, there are obviously exceptions to the rule. But most guys, it's pretty obvious where they're going to end up in bodybuilding. You know, these guys were great from when they started. You could see these things. They, you know, had something unique about their physique, or they were, you know, excelling very quickly. They started winning very quickly. You know, there's obviously exceptions to the rule, but I think you shouldn't always necessarily rely on that. You know, look, if you want to go balls in, I'm not going to like hate on you for it. But I think it can be scary and dangerous.
But yeah, also if you go, it's different too. Like say we're all on a football podcast right now. We're top football prospects, and we were like rated #1 in the country and all this stuff. Like, and there's like a good foreseeable projection in our future that we could go pro. Then it's like
100%.
You're going to put all your eggs in that basket, because going pro and even signing a fucking 2-year contract at a league minimum, I'm a millionaire.
Yeah.
So like, I don't play a fucking snap. I'm on fucking special teams. I don't like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a real goal that will lead to like a tangible fucking
payout.
Like it's for sure. It's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas like all these guys that, like, I see this every day in the gym, especially the gym I'm at, there's fucking kids in there that are coming into that gym, because I'm there all day. They're coming in 3 separate times a day to train.
No way.
Yeah. I'm talking cardio session, a fucking workout session, and for some reason they're back again at some point.
I can see the first 2. I can't see the third. Sorry.
No, obviously. So can I, but I'm not saying do what you want, but you obviously don't have a job.
Yeah.
So because who the fuck has that schedule?
Yeah.
You're there in the morning, you're there in the middle of the day, you're there in the mid-afternoon. What did you do?
Yeah.
You work from home. That's cool, I guess. But like, and that's the thing, is that has to be passed on to these bodybuilders. And even I remember Hunter was saying this at dinner. He was like having these thoughts of like, he said he's getting into those thoughts now of like, what am I going to do after bodybuilding's done? Like
What's next? Yeah.
he's just starting to have these revelations of being like, holy fuck, this isn't going to last forever. Like that person has a great background to fall back on. His dad's very famous. They have a great company.
And
so
this is for people listening. That's also one of the best bodybuilders on the planet still thinking about this.
Yeah. And he has a secured lineage and like probably a business to walk right back into because he can keep growing his their family brand and whatever. But if you're an average fucking guy, dude, like you can still bodybuild and have a job. I know it's
100%.
not ideal if you're going to be like some top pro, but you are not a top pro. In order to have money to even get to that stage, you need to work, man. Like you got to get a fucking job. Like
it's a
and
tough
you need to
thing
be
because,
proficient.
Like, yeah, because like me and Fouad, I can sit here and be like, we gave up everything to do it. But like, I think like Mike said, the self-awareness is so key here because I think you really need to, really be aware of yourself and your limitations and your potential in this. And just like, like what Mike's saying with football, if you were, undrafted 19,000th round, whatever, fucking blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I'm going to be first. Yeah, there is exceptions to the rule and there's fucking Cinderella stories of guys that do it. But it's a scary thing to lay all the chips on for sure. So, I think you should always definitely have a backup plan unless it's like extremely obvious that you are definitely bound for success in your craft,
a couple huge examples I think of. One of them's not really applicable to what we're talking about, but if you watch the Arnold documentary on Netflix, one of the coolest things I heard him talk about was how when he first started making any significant amount of money, like not huge money, but like I think he said like his first 25 grand or some shit like that, he bought real estate in California. I was like, this motherfucker knew, even though he was great, even though he had
Jay Cutler was the same.
So I'm like, those things are impressive to me because even though he had the foresight to know he was going to be a Mr. Olympia, he was going to be this, he was going to be that, he was like, I'm going to buy that fucking real estate because it's going to make me a fortune one day.
Yeah.
So that's one. The second thing is, I think it's someone like John. It took John 13 tries to get his pro card. But along the way, John was an executive at Chase Bank, very high up at the bank. And then while he was doing that, he was building Mountain Dog, which was the programs and the coaching, which, he was getting paid $40,000 a pop to go do seminars.
And Granite.
Before Granite, he was getting paid 40K a pop to fly to like Australia, fly to Scotland, fly to different places to do these seminars.
Yeah.
So he built all that, the programs, while he was at Chase Bank to where it got big enough till he could leave and just coach. And all the while was doing like one show a year trying to get his pro card. So like there's stories like that too, where you're like, I guess the where I'm coming from at it, Ian, is I know people in my life that I've seen not have any good job, not have a place to live, not have a family, all because they're trying to become pros. They have
I'm agreeing with you.
They have literally no shot at turning pro.
Yeah.
And no one's told them to stop.
Yeah. But we're agreeing. We're all agreeing.
That's the thing is like, and now in today's society, if you're the person that tells them to stop, you're an asshole. Yeah. But really, I'm fucking helping you because I'm saving you a lot of fucking heartache and a lot of trouble. And I'm helping you forward your life to be like, go, bro, like, this is not the path. Like, even if this goes out like exactly as you planned, you are not signing a contract that's going to be livable. You're not going to like be making money. Like, and this is especially true for women.
Yeah.
There's so many fucking women out there that think that if they get a pro card in figure, not to besmirch figure, I love like the women's categories. It's cool. Let's just face it. You're not making any fucking money.
No.
You need a job.
Show money, shit, sponsorship money, shit.
Yeah.
Nothing. You need a fucking job. So go get a fucking job and like be good at something and go to work every day. And you'd be surprised, like these people, like it's a stupid fucking thought, but like if you have a job and you have something to focus on, you're making money. Do you know how much easier that makes dieting in the sense that like you literally don't have to think.
Well, and like how much more stressed are you going to be bodybuilding thinking of like
how are you going to pay your bills?
How you're going to pay your bills versus like, okay, I have a little bit of financial security here and I can do my bodybuilding. That's going to probably make you a better bodybuilder at the end of the day, So, so yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you and Fouad and Mike on this. I think, it's scary. And we've all seen a lot of guys like throw their entire life away. And it's not just in bodybuilding, a lot of pursuits like this because there was just no self-awareness or no one just being completely honest with them of like, homie, you just ain't got it. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
like
Well-
you ain't that dude,
It's like,
so it's sad, but I also think, yeah, there needs to be the self-awareness there that if you are that guy as well, you to dive all in. So I think there's both sides of that coin,
Ian's that guy for me. Every time I say I want to come back, he's like, dude, you ain't got it. You just,
Yeah.
dude, your arms are gone. Your stomach's too wide.
Yeah.
There's literally a guy that I trained a few times back in the day for a limited amount of time. I trained him, and both me and Bob Weatherall trained him. Okay. Both of us told this kid who was like gung-ho about everything. I'm not going to say his name. I don't like the kid, so I'm definitely not saying his name. But we both told him, like, you're not going to be a pro. Like he had some part, like certain body parts that were exemplary. They were like good body parts, but overall, like,
Yeah,
shit was fucking weird. Like,
yeah,
just not, things weren't happening. And I said, like, unless you can bring up this certain thing, there's no way that your physique is like even close to worthy of a pro card or whatever.
Yeah.
So I said this to this person because I was being honest. I wasn't yelling at him or like trying to pick him feel, but I said, listen, like, you have a chance because of this body part. It is so good that if the other stuff can even get close to it, it's going to end up being really good. And I didn't know that Bob told him the same thing I did till me and Bob talked like years and years later.
Yeah.
And this kid held it against both of us and proved us both wrong and got a pro card. But in the meantime, getting the pro card, he used every trick in the book to bring up the part that needed to be brought up.
Right.
Like,
right,
I'm talking like, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I got
Yeah.
it.
So like so this person was driven to get this to like prove us wrong.
Right.
And did it, but where they are today is nowhere.
Well, this is the one other caveat I wanted to talk about before we get off this topic. You can get a pro card nowadays,
which means
much easier than you could 10, 20 years ago, but it doesn't mean you're going to make any money.
A pro card,
and vice versa. You can not have a pro card and make a fucking boatload of money.
Yeah, I was gonna say a pro card is no more avenue to make money than not having a pro card in this day and age.
Nowadays,
The most successful kid in the physics industry right now is Sam. And does he have a pro card? Has he ever competed?
Exactly. So I think it's and we also know there's top level Olympians that still work jobs. There's the guys that are making no money on contracts. They might be getting $800 a month and some supplements. And they still work full-time jobs because that's just not. Having a pro card and being competitive and placing in a few shows isn't a career necessarily. Like, you need to, obviously in this day and age, you need to have a social media presence. You need to be marketable. There needs to be something else to you that a company can cash in on in some sense. So just hoping that you're going to be a great bodybuilder isn't just enough anymore. There needs to be more to that puzzle.
When you first started doing gear, were you a hyper responder? I mean, come on. Look at me. I mean, of course I was.
Of course. That's why I gave up everything, because I knew it. I was honest with myself. I knew.
Let's see. Are you guys gonna know?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Why is milk and dairy viewed negatively while dieting?
That's a good question.
Well, I personally think there's better. Well, I think there's better sources of protein, and I don't.
Well, this depends. Like, if we're classifying whey as dairy, whey is literally the best source.
Not
of
classifying dairy as whey. I'm talking about just
milk.
Yeah.
So like, why is it?
I'm not saying whey. I'm not saying.
Yeah,
whey.
I think milk has a lot of calories to it for what you're getting. Obviously, the sugars in milk are quite a bit. Even if you're getting skim milk, there might be no fat, but there's still a lot of sugar in it.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's going to be a lot of calories that could probably be spent in more filling and dense foods in that sense.
That's the argument I was making with Mike, and you fucking argued with me.
Wait, I'm saying if you need to be hungrier, but this is the reason why people wouldn't use it. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I was saying to Mike about the protein bar.
Yeah, but if Mike's not complaining about being hungry, then it's a relevant conversation. So I'm saying, if you're someone and you don't want to use milk, why you wouldn't is because it might be because you want to save the calories for more food. If you're someone that doesn't care about it, well, then go for it. It doesn't mean it's, that's all the point is. It works on both sides. Yeah.
I don't think I would be hungry. I don't think I would be hungry if I drank milk, because there's enough fat and protein There's enough fat, protein, and carbs too that it's like a complete meal.
No, but it's just liquid. It's not going to fill you up enough.
Is there
There's enough-
carbs
there's
in high
enough
fat?
a whole milk's got enough fat in it to fill you up, dude.
It's got some fat and it's got some sugar and carbs in there and a bit of protein. Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna drink milk all the time. Maybe Sam's on to something.
I mean, look with the Fairlife milk now, you can get like 20 grams of protein in a cup of it, and it's like moderate to low carb. You get skim milk with no fat. I mean, you could probably do pretty good with it. I mean,
I think there's less lactose in that stuff too. I digest it better.
I mean, you can get
You're
lactose in milk.
because
You
you're lactose
You
intolerant.
definitely won't throw up in the shower from it. That's
Yeah, right. Yeah. They say 70% of the population is lactose intolerant, just different varying degrees.
But just like we had with the conversation with Mike,
I hate
yes,
this.
if you're getting very hungry on your diet and you want to obviously get as much food in you as possible to satiate yourself, having something like that is probably not the best option. Just like the protein bars.
Okay. Okay. Let's do one more and then we'll do New York. I can't believe we're saving New York till the end. I guess it's not close enough, really. Would you rather be deaf or completely blind?
Ooh,
Deaf.
deaf.
easy.
Sometimes I wish I was deaf now.
Oh,
Tell
my
us why,
God.
Paul.
We gotta delete that for sure.
Paul, tell us why.
I could tell you why.
What
Can't tell you why on here.
I'd like
what
to know.
Some people talk too much. That's all I can say.
what percent gay are your guys' wives? Well, mine's like fucking less than 1%.
You don't think
Yeah.
she could get drunk enough to be like a little lesbian?
Like, what's gay? Kissing a girl?
No, like
Like your wife when she was
I
younger
won't-
definitely
won't-
made out with some chicks.
I won't know she didn't. I won't name who. Look, he says it like it's normal because his wife did.
It's definitely normal.
He's like, my wife's gay.
I feel like every girl when they were like 18 like kissed a girl,
Dude,
you know.
yeah.
Summer's a very conservative, like old-fashioned person. She
Yeah.
definitely did not make out with chicks. She's 100, and I'm not saying that because I'm like, oh, that's what she told me.
And I don't even know if Melissa did, to be honest. I should ask her, but
Listen, Melissa grabbed Summer's tit at my birthday, and Summer was like, Melissa grabbed my tit, and she was like freaked. not
that's definitely
not,
something Melissa would do.
not naked, by the way. Don't get fucking carried away.
It was naked, he's lying.
No.
We were all naked.
We were all naked. We were all mushrooms and we were all naked. And went to pool.
Just making love.
Let's see. Okay, one more. What is everyone's ideal cheat meal? Also,
Oh, fuck that. We've done that before. Do know.
yeah, okay. When was the last time you remember buying supplements from a company? GAT Nitroflex, when I was like
I just
a long time ago.
bought some Fiberlize.
Yeah, I know. I can't stop hearing about your fucking Fiberlize. You know,
Isn't it great?
me
It
and
is great.
Paul's wife tried to have an intervention with Paul because he's so over the top about fiber in his ass that like it's
I just
all
want
I
to share
hear.
my joy sweat.
It's
Yes.
all I hear about. It's literally all I hear
Did
about.
I tell you?
gotta-
Did you care about Fiberlize for me?
Yes.
You're one of them. You're one of them.
This guy's so easily influenced. He's like, well, Mike tried it, and and Guy Cisternino said it was good, and
Ben.
Ben
The list goes on.
and I'm not saying it's not good. I'm sure Fiberlize is great. My problem is you have like this obsession with fiber that I cannot grasp.
I think it's an age thing. I think when you
It
get
is
to
for
mid-
sure,
you
yeah.
No, it's not an
you like
age
start
thing.
eating like fucking like Raisin Bran and shit.
It's
and you're
not
like,
an
you know,
age thing. Don't defend him. It's not an age. It's
It is an age thing. For
he's
sure.
eating till he throws up, so he needs the fiber to clean his system out.
You know, well, then I take a metformin too, Fouad. There's a whole system I got.
Takes a metformin, a diazide, and a fucking Fiberlize.
The metformin drives all the nutrients to the muscles, and whichever
Yeah, it
left
sure
the
does.
Fiberlize.
I have heard
Removes
that,
from
Why
the
you just
body.
shoot like 20 units of insulin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or just don't eat garbage. Or I
Yeah,
heard
that's what I could do too.
I heard that Fiberlize is pretty good though. I
it
heard it's
is.
like-
I'm
yeah.
enjoying it.
Are you signing another hostile athlete? Yes, we are. It's a secret, but I can't give any hints.
I don't even know.
Paul doesn't even know.
You haven't told me.
Paul does. Nobody knows.
I know.
Ben didn't know. You don't know either.
Oh, wait a minute. I do know.
You don't know.
I know.
I think I know.
None of you know.
I know.
I'm not gonna say
I know.
nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing. I know.
Next
I know
question.
for sure.
All I can say is it's going to be fucking awesome. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Okay. if Paul had to eat one bowl of soup for every 5 joints he smoked, how would it change his weed habits?
I might actually start to enjoy soup if I did that. But you guys tried to order me a bowl of soup in Detroit, and but remember I left the table. I came back. There was a bowl of cream of mushroom soup sitting there for me.
And chicken wings.
And chicken wings.
Chicken wings too. I forgot about those. Ian Fouad ate them. At least could have got me a better soup than cream of mushroom.
Dude, cream of mushroom is delicious.
Great.
It's not on its own. It's not.
And then you
no.
took a bite and put the spoon back in the bowl, and you're like, "Here, food." I didn't. Let's see. Nope. Preferences on length of prep, and did you do it better with including cheat meals or refeeds? You know, I just want to make this point. Urs said something really important on the last podcast, because we always talk about if you should have cheats, refeeds, or if you should just diet straight through. And Urs said something really important about, if I'm allowed to have refeeds, I diet harder and do things I shouldn't be doing so that my coach will give me a refeed.
Oh, I remember I used to do that once in a while too.
I used to do that too. And I never thought of having refeeds that way as the client.
Yeah, it's a bad mentality.
Like what I used to do, I used to like subtract a little bit of food, or
cut a little.
Honestly, the mental repercussions it has after the fact is how you end up like binge fucks like you two, you know?
Yeah.
It's like where food is like a reward. Food's like a reward that you
just have no fucking filter, this motherfucker. Right?
I know.
Food's like a reward that you like want to work to, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
food shouldn't be a reward, like, ever.
Well, the main problem with it also is sugar is just addictive. And when you have a fucking binge day on a Sunday and you eat,
especially when you're in a deficit the rest of the week. Yeah.
Right. So then Monday you wake up and the first thing you're looking for is a muffin, and you're like, fuck. And so Monday and Tuesday become a bitch. And then you got to get back on it Wednesday. So there's a whole bunch of reasons, but I just thought Urs's reason was like one that I didn't actually think about when doing this whole equation, that people do over diet sometimes to get the cheat meal.
To make sure that your coach is going to give you one. Like, I'm down 5 pounds.
Dude, I remember Chad used to email me at like 3 or 4 in the morning. That's when he used to work. So I would send him my check-in on Saturday, and I'd be up at like 4 in the morning checking my email.
Waiting for it.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, he didn't email me yet. So I go back to sleep, but I can't because I'm starving.
Yeah.
I wake up like an hour later. It's like 5:30. I go back to my email. Like, oh, he said I can have one. I would start eating at 6 a.m.
What if he said no? You fucking miserable.
It was the worst day ever. It was the worst. It was such a fucking letdown.
Yeah.
You'd be like, look, and back then it wasn't like with Patrick where you guys like talked every day. Back then, me and Chad talked once a week.
Yeah, you're sending Polaroids in the mail once a week, right?
No,
like carrier pigeon.
Yeah.
No, but like literally, I think all coaches, what they used to do was like at the beginning of prep, you would talk once a week, and then as you got closer,
that's very normal.
No, but it was still not compared to what Patrick does. Like
no, but even like at the beginning of prep, we might just check in once, and then it'll pick up more and more and more.
Yeah, I think it started becoming twice a week around like 6 weeks or maybe 7, and then around like 2 weeks it was like every other day or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'd have to wait like a whole other week. He'd be like, "Oh, let's go one more week." I'm like, "Fuck,
motherfucking asshole." Fucking hate this guy. I've got a new coach. What the fuck he's doing?
I did call him an asshole too. That's the funny part. It wasn't even his fault.
He doesn't know my body.
My new girlfriend doesn't eat any meat that has a bone in it, same as Paul. Is this a red flag? Should I dump her?
Yes.
Why would you want to dump her?
You're a fucking meat with a bone in it. Do you not realize that?
Yeah. Exactly.
My wife does it. My wife has the same. No, my wife likes soup, but she doesn't eat any fucking, like, she won't eat drumsticks or fucking wings or ribs or any of that shit.
Yeah, I don't know what people think. I'm not the only one.
Food aversions, you know?
It's actually fairly common.
I think the bone in thing is actually pretty common.
I know.
Yeah,
I don't think I have a single food aversion.
I don't either. I'll eat pretty much anything.
I wish I was more like that.
I think it's because my mom used to, like, I remember my mom told me, like, when we were baby, because she did it with my nieces and nephews, she would feed them like a large array of foods from when they were babies. So
I was eating Indian food when I was like 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had an Italian mom, and I was the youngest, so she babied the fuck out of me.
Yeah, so Italians get it a lot, to be honest, I think.
Oh, my mom babied me, but I think they just knew, like, if we feed them everything, then they won't be picky.
I also grew up in a daycare. Like, my parents like I lived out kind of in the country and my parents worked in town. So like they would drive me and I went to like a daycare during the day, or even when I got older and and like I was a younger kid and went to school, like they dropped me off there in the morning. I would take the bus from there in the morning. And then after school, I would take the bus back to there and I'd be there from 3 till 6 p.m. when my parents would pick me up, and then I would go home.
Yeah.
Because I lived out of town. I couldn't take the bus back home.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And so like I grew up there in like a day, in like a lady's house for 10, 12 years, where it was like you were just eating what the kids were eating. Like, so you were just eating fucking, it's not like you could be like, I don't like this, and she's going to make you something else,
Right. Yeah.
Like she fed us good food, but like, if you're eating fucking tuna sandwiches or goddamn, alfaghettios or whatever, like it's just, you eat what you're given,
Yeah. Right.
Actually, I can't say that I do have a food aversion. I don't really like fish unless it's like really good, like a sea bass or something.
Yeah.
I like sushi. I like sushi. I like tuna. I don't like other types of cooked fish. Like I don't like fucking cooked salmon and shit. I wouldn't eat that shit.
Like fishy fish, like that smells fishy, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like sea bass isn't like a strong smelling fish, so I like the taste. It's got a different texture too.
Like, could you eat sardines?
If it was a bet, but I wouldn't eat them like happily.
I have cans of sardines in my cupboard.
Yeah, you eat them?
You know how good they are for you?
Oh, I know they're amazing
for you.
Okay.
Herring, sardines, things like
I heard
that.
they're like a fucking superfood.
Yeah, for omega-3s, yeah.
They're amazing. If you
They
can
have
get
bo- they
flavored
have,
ones,
like,
that
little
taste really
bones in
good.
them?
Yeah, they got bones in
but
them.
you can eat the bones. Like it's not a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
wait.
You get like smoked
should've-
ones. You get different flavored lemon pepper. There's good ones in hot sauce. They're good.
They have their heads on them?
No.
Are you
Just
saying
the, like,
are you
fillets,
saying
right?
you eat? Are you saying you eat the bones because you're being Ian? Or are you saying like everybody eats the bones?
No, you can eat the whole thing. They're like the bones are like microscopic, bro. Like they're like nothing. You can just eat it. Yeah.
They crunchy?
Not crunchy, but like sometimes you can tell they're there, but you can chew through them very easily.
So it's not like hard. Like if it's a piece
No,
of hard thing.
they're like they're the thickness of like a half a piece of string.
Come on,
I don't know if I could do that.
another one.
Yeah, I just want to see like
this is what I love. I love it. It's my favorite. This is my favorite thing. This is
Are
my
they
favorite.
super salty?
they must be.
Yeah, sometimes depends what flavor you get. I mean, they're good.
This is
Yeah,
my favorite.
they stink really bad though.
I used to eat them when I worked at Popeye Supplements when I was younger. Me and one of the guys I worked with, because we were like 3 doors down from like a dollar store. And I was like starting bodybuilding. We'd go down there and buy a bunch of cans of them, like lemon and cracked pepper, fucking ones in hot sauce, the smoked ones. We just sit there, crack them open in the back room, fucking eat these things. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, man.
You buy like a pack of microwavable rice, buy like 3 or 4 because they're like 20, 25 grams of protein, like a tin of them. Get two or three tins of those. Fucking crack them open, get some good fats, get a bag of rice, you're good to go. And it was like they were like 60 cents a tin,
Huh.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
I'll try it too.
You need to get good flavored ones. Like there's such good flavors out
It's
there.
good.
Now.
Like if you're on I don't want to say if you're
Road
on
trip.
I don't want to say if you're on the carnivore diet, but like if you're on keto, it's good.
Yeah,
You're getting a lot
perfect
of,
for keto.
You're getting a lot of fucking healthy fats and shit. So
Right.
Tons of fat in them.
Yeah. But they're super high in sodium.
So what?
Yeah,
Well, I don't know. Like, is that a problem?
Well,
No.
if you have fucking high blood pressure, I'd be careful.
But like as a bodybuilder, like and when performance and training,
To be honest with you, I'm
you
sorry.
want as much sodium as you can.
Because my
fucking get.
dad, the reason I'm asking is my dad's old though. I think he's turning 80 soon, and he got his doctor just told him to stop eating sardines.
Okay, can I just say? I just want to say this real quick, and this is just from the small amount of research I've done. So if there's any fucking scientists or professional fucking guru diet dudes out there, forgive me. If you're on a ketogenic diet or a carnivore diet, because there's no carbs in your diet or very little, if any, you actually need more salt.
Oh,
So it's actually okay if you're doing that type of diet. I think if you're eating normal amount of food, normal amount of carbs, I think salt becomes more of an issue.
okay.
Well, it becomes more of an issue if you already have hypertension.
No, I'm saying for his dad. I'm not saying for like an average
Well,
healthy person.
Yeah,
My
like when I was
dad's on blood
competing, I would be
thinners, though.
consuming like 12 to 15
Yeah,
grams of
If
sodium
you're
a day.
if you're a bodybuilder, you want the sodium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure for a healthy young man, it's probably great for you.
Oh yeah, fucking sick pumps, bro.
Okay, last question, and this is probably not interesting to you, but interesting to me. Paul, we'll do this one first real quick. Do you know why the owner of Lululemon called it Lululemon?
I do.
You want to tell us all?
You told me though, Fouad.
I did not
So
tell
you
you.
used to want to
I
say
didn't
you
tell
want me
you.
to say it. Yeah, you did. Yes, you
I
did.
did
Yes,
not
you
tell
did.
you.
I promise you did. Just a couple weeks ago.
Okay, but you laughed way harder than I expected.
Yeah, wait, we talked
That's kind
about
of
this.
funny. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
who I told you probably, right?
I
I
didn't
think
tell
you
him.
guys.
I didn't tell him.
I think you told us, Paul.
No,
Yeah.
no. I didn't. No, I didn't. You guys.
Are you guys sure this is the true answer? You just fucking around.
Well,
Fouad told me.
apparently it's a myth, but I don't know. The guy said something else that made it sound like it was
Well,
true.
he's controversial. Chip, what's his name? Chip Wilson.
So look, I didn't say it, so I can say it. So apparently he called it Lululemon because he didn't want Asian people wearing his clothes. So he thought that Asian people can't say the L.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
No, I'm telling you, because I think somebody said it to him in an interview.
Google it. This will be a very easy Google.
No, wait a minute. He denied it. But then in an interview, I think when he was called out on it, he said, I don't care if everybody doesn't wear my clothes. So he kind of like backed it up a bit.
Yeah. Well, he
Yeah,
also said stuff
I don't
about-
think the Asians not being able to say the name is a big enough deterrent for them not to wear it. Like, it's like
He also said something about fat chicks wearing his clothes. A couple
like
years
they can't say a lot of American words and a lot of American TV and movie, and they still watch it and buy it. It's like it's a stupid reason,
Let's see. How did the Lulu?
Chip Wilson.
How do they say it?
Roo Remen. Roo Remen.
That's so ignorant.
Is it?
It's fucking really ignorant. Okay.
I disagree.
Okay. Wilson said he picked the name Lululemon because he thought the difficulty Japanese people had pronouncing the letter L was an extra marketing tool for the product in the country, stating it's
Okay,
funny,
so not to deter
it's
them.
funny to watch them try and say it.
That's hilarious.
This is fucking brutal.
That's a quote from January of this year. That's awesome.
That's
He
amazing.
just doesn't give a fuck.
No, he's so rich now. He doesn't care.
He's like, yeah, don't worry. I'm gonna go fuck. See you later.
He built like some massive house too, and it like dwarfed all the other houses in the neighborhood, and people bitched because it affected their view now of the area. And he was like, "Fuck you."
He's like, I
Build
don't
what
care. Fuck off. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll buy your house too. Fuck you.
Right.
Is this the original founder of Lululemon?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. All right, last question. I don't know if it should be last, whatever. Do y'all believe
You
there's
said last question 10 questions ago.
well, do you want to go? Do you want to leave? Is that why?
I want to see what this New York Pro talks about.
Okay, last question. Do y'all believe there's good people and bad people, or just good decisions and bad decisions, and everyone is capable of both?
No, there's
No,
fucking
there's good and evil.
idiots.
There's good people and bad people for
There's
sure.
a lot of them too. A lot more now than ever.
I think both things are true.
Yeah, I think
think
some
there's-
people are just fucked in the head. Like I don't think Ted Bundy is ever going to be
Yeah.
a good dude. You know what I mean?
But I think there's good people that do dumb things, and
Fuck their lives up. 100%.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you this. Somebody messaged me about Martin.
I was gonna
Somebody messaged me about Martin after the podcast, and
Yeah.
they said, I really didn't like Martin, but like after watching him on the podcast, like I changed my mind, and I'm like, yeah, everyone deserves a second chance.
Martin changed himself.
Yeah, he
So
did.
I'm like, that's why I believe the second one. And not to say Martin was a bad person. He was just a
No,
young
he
kid.
made bad decisions.
He was
but
just
I
a
would
young kid that
differentiate
made some bad decisions. But so I think both things are true. I think some people are just inherently fucked and just are out to get people and out to
Yeah,
ruin
it's
people's
hard to
lives.
say. Oh fuck! Now that you think about it more, it's hard to say because even these people that like are classic psychopaths, sociopaths, like a lot of it is like product of environment kind of stuff. Like a lot of it can be brought back to their childhood and things that.
Yeah, but I
happened
don't
that, like,
consider that an excuse.
No, I don't think it's the excuse, but I think that maybe if they were raised in a different household with a different scenario, they could have not ended up that way. So then it's kind of saying that there isn't good and bad, that it's not decisions, but yeah, see, it's hard. It's
No, wait a
complicated.
second. I'm not going that far back though. I'm talking like, let's take a person when they're 20 years old.
Yeah.
And
But they
moving
could already, the damage could be done by then.
No, I know that, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about a philosophical question where I say, when a baby is born, is it good or bad, or is it both? Because that we don't know, right? Like it can be, you can argue that point forever. What I'm saying is, like, if you met a 30-year-old dude and he was a fucking cunt to you, does he deserve a second chance, or is that person just a cunt?
Depends on
I
how
think
much
people
of a
deserve
cunt.
second chance, but I think there's context to everything. I think it's like, if it were they just a dick one time, they've been a dick to other people. Is there like a history here? Like what is other things? But like, yeah, I think people do deserve second chances in many aspects for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, depending on the severity of what they've done.
Mike,
Yeah.
what do you think? Do you think
Yeah. It depends how much you've wronged me for sure.
do you think there's good and bad people, period? Or do you think there's good people and bad people or good people that do bad things?
I think there's all of the above, but I think when it comes down to it, overall, in this world that we're living in, there is good and evil. And whether you fall in that spectrum and you like if you fall to the evil side or the bad side or the douchebag side, there's always a way to pull yourself back to the good if you want to. But some people just choose to stay on the bad side and pretend like we all know people who are fake and phony and they lie to your face and they come across one way, but they're really another way, right? Like there's always true, genuine change, but I think people's true natures are always lying in one side or the other, just because they could an evil person could pretend like they're good because they're looking for to get something from somebody, so they're that person's best friend, right? Sure, we've all encountered people like that where you're like, oh, like everyone says this guy's an asshole, but he's really cool with me. Like he said he fucked over all these people, but he's always been cool with me. And then sure enough, 2 years down the road, he fucks you over. Right. So it's just I believe that there's like inherently good and inherently bad, but there is a sliding scale and there's always a chance to the idea would be to have everyone be on the good side, but
Mike,
whether
knowing you for a short period of time, has anyone in your life ever slid from the bad side to the good side?
To be honest, as I get older in my adult life, I've seen so many people start in the good and slide to the bad. It's always like in the sense that like a lot of people show you they show you what they want, what they think you want to see from the beginning.
Right.
And then as the years go by or as like moments happen or instances happen, you start to see them unravel and fall back to where they were, right? And there's other people who like maybe you had a bad impression of them. A lot of times it's when you have a bad impression of someone you never even spoke to them.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Or you just hated them, or like there's something about them, and then you're like, you finally had a conversation with him, you're like, he's not a fucking bad guy.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of like he's guarded like me, or he's just like keeping his fucking wits about him because he's not going to get taken advantage of. But when we came to talk, we understood like we could be completely different people, but we came to talk and we're like, oh, I like him, even if he's different than me. He's just like on the same energy, right? But a lot of people I just find a lot of people nowadays, and there's people that we mutually know who like they're just fucking shitty people, man. When it comes down to it, certain people could think they're great, but you've seen their true colors, and you're like, oh, that's fucking like a rat. You know what I mean?
Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I've seen more good go to bad in my life. But what like Mike was talking about, like impressions you make of people before you know them. I do that too much in my life. I do it at work a lot. Someone new will get hired, and I'll be like, ah, look at this fucking guy, and then I'll talk to him like, nice guy. and I
you're easy to get though, because I remember. Sorry to interrupt you, but I remember throughout our entire bodybuilding career, you would dislike someone, but as soon as they paid you a compliment, you're like, hey, that guy's not bad.
Yeah, I've done that too. Yeah.
You'd be like, hey, Paul, you got a good physique. You'd be like, you know what? I talked to so-and-so. He's actually like he's a nice guy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's one thing I've tried to work on a lot in my life, and I'm not good at it still.
Yeah.
Form his opinions before I know somebody.
It's interesting. I don't know. All right. We're gonna wrap there. These guys are gone. I don't know if they went to take a leak
or out of bed or the
they're like, you know what? We're not gonna do this anymore. We're just gonna go away.
So do you have a lineup for New York, Fouad?
No, I don't.
One yet.
I don't. I thought Quint was doing
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I thought Quint was doing it, but then I heard he hasn't really announced what he's doing. So maybe he's not doing it because him and Nick are both on Team HD, so maybe they don't want to compete against each other.
Right.
I would assume.
And they're both Matt Jansen too, right?
I would assume that Nick is going to win New York and Quint will probably do California or Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto's looking up to be a pretty good show too. I saw John Jewett posted that he's doing it.
Is he doing open?
Yeah. I think his weight was like in the high 240s. I want to say an update that he put up.
Well, I'll tell you this: if I had to guess, Quint is doing Toronto because he's from there, and he can just fucking drive there and park and go walk in.
Yeah,
doesn't have to fly nowhere. Doesn't get an Airbnb. Doesn't do shit. If I was Quint, I would do Toronto, and then whatever shows are after that. If for some reason I didn't win.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna guess that Quint is not doing New York. I'm gonna say it's probably Nick, Tonio, Stu,
Sorry, you're saying you don't think Quint is doing New York?
I don't think Quint's going to do New York. No, I just think him and Nick are on. They're both on the team HD, and why would Matt put Quint against Nick when he can just go win California or Toronto the weeks after? I mean, maybe he wants to. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, he hasn't. And all I said was, I thought he was doing New York, and then someone said to me, he hasn't actually announced what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, if I had to guess, then I would say it's probably not New York. It's probably one of the two after.
The only reason I'm saying I think he's doing Toronto or doing New York first is, one, I think Matt would want to see him next to someone like Nick, and I think also
That's true.
It would be good to have. I think this is the first time they've peaked together to get one in before a show that you could potentially win, like Toronto.
Right. But there's California.
I also think Matt's already going to be there in person probably for New York, so it'll be good to be there in person to see Quint. And I also think, based off the pictures of where Quint is at, he's definitely more ahead to be ready for something like New York than he would be looking like he is now for just Toronto.
Well, there's California the week after New York. So I think,
but like, I think, I see it being in New York, Toronto, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, we're guessing anyway. Let's say he does. Let's just say he does New York. Does he beat Tonio?
In my opinion, yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we haven't seen him in a couple of years, but
I think that's going to be, that would be an awesome showdown with Martin, Tonio, and Quint is going to be a fucking sick.
I forgot Martin's doing it too. Oh, my bad.
That's a sick, like, look, I don't think anyone's beaten Nick. Let's be serious here.
Yeah.
But after that, between Tonio, Nick, Tonio, Stu, Quint, and Martin, that's a really good, like, group after there. And we're probably missing a fucking shit ton of guys in there too.
I think I'm gonna put Martin in second in that group.
It's tough, man. That's a really hard one for me to predict.
I'm really sorry, Paul, go ahead.
Isn't Hassan Mustafa too? Is he get ready for Toronto, New York?
He's doing Toronto, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think Quint, it really is going to come down to what he looks like from the back if he can beat Martin. Because I know they can get it. I know he can get shit, and it comes also the posing. His posing has to get more crisp because he's a little bit like
he's been working with posing people, to my knowledge. So he's been working with KJ or one of those people. So I think his posing will be better, and I think with Matt he's going to be, and just the time he took away, I think he will be significant.
I mean, look, if we're talking about potential to win, he has potential to win the whole fucking thing.
Yep.
Like Quint has potential to beat Nick. I know it's not
potential
likely.
to beat Nick.
I know it's not likely right now.
Yeah, no. Do I think if you give it the time that it is a ceiling potentially higher? Absolutely. Do I think he's there yet? I don't know, but he is, and I've said this for years. He's one of my favorite physiques on the up and up.
I think everybody has. I think everybody at some point. I mean, I think that's why his shirt says. I think his shirt says something like potential without.
Potential is meaningless, kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Quentin brings to the table. I see Quentin every day, so
yeah, I was going to ask you that.
I see how I don't see him posing or taking his shirt off or shit, but he's definitely looking monstrous. So we'll see.
Do you think Tonio can beat Quint, or Martin can beat Quint if Quint is peaked the way Matt knows how to peak people?
I just have to see from the back what's going on.
Yeah.
At the front can.
I have seen from the back. I'll say, and there's definitely a big improvement.
I don't know when did you see it? Like he posted something a little while ago. It was too. Shut up, Ian.
I have inside information.
Oh my god! I know Matt.
I didn't say Matt showed me. I just said I have inside information.
All right. Well, we've been on for too long. That's all we got for New York today. We'll have to come back.
We got to do one more question.
Why?
That's just, we always end with a question. We never end talking about a show. That's weird.
Fouad, do you feel that you're more successful now in this aspect of your career as a business owner, promoter, and podcaster than you were as a professional bodybuilder? Not saying you weren't successful as a bodybuilder. LOL. They put LOL, Paul, to make me not feel bad.
Hey, that's it. That covers everything right there.
Smooths it all over.
Yep. You say whatever the fuck you want.
Like, hey, wait a minute. Oh, LOL. That's fine.
Oh, he's joking.
No offense. LOL.
I don't really want to answer this as the last question, but I'll answer it as saying I feel like I'm in the same spot currently, but I won't be.
Popularity-wise? Success and popularity wise?
Success wise, it feels the same to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well, one led to the next, so it's like
no. But no, that's not how I mean it. Like, take peak popularity as a bodybuilder, and take where Hostile is, and I feel like they're in the same place currently.
okay.
Because the way I look at it is like, let's say, who's the Derek Lunsford of supplement companies? Fucking name of what's the most massive company you think of? Fucking Ghost, Cellucor, like Raw's on the way there. Like those are the top 3, top 5 at the Olympia.
Rise, like those kind of
Right. So Hostile's not there yet. I'm still in like
Okay. Yeah, when you put it in those terms, I can understand.
I'm still in 15th.
Yeah.
So it's like
You're still 6th place at the Arnold.
I'm still 6th. You fucking cunt. No, but yeah, so I feel like it's parallel. Now podcasting wise, it's probably obviously surpassed that. But I'm talking in my mind, I'm talking about like Hostile.
Yeah.
So I still have a ways to go, I think, to push past. Okay, last question.
Like, can we like make the claim that this is the #1 bodybuilding podcast?
Yeah, we can make that claim.
Yeah.
100% we can.
Yeah.
There's no other bodybuilding podcast that gets the amount of views we get on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some out there that have like some massive numbers.
Yeah.
But on a regular basis, we consistently do like the same kind of numbers every week. Yeah. So I don't want to sound like a dick, but I will take that title. I want to sound a dick for this 1 minute. Yes, we have done that. Okay. If Denzel Washington was related to you, would you rather him be your father, grandfather, uncle, cousin, or brother?
Uncle.
Brother.
Yeah.
I mean, to be my dad would be pretty cool too. Well, but
but if he was my brother,
it doesn't work because I'm white, so obviously he couldn't be my father. But it would be cool because then obviously I'm fucking got like that Hollywood A-list richness, you know?
Yeah, if you're his brother, Fouad, you ride his coattails.
Right. See, Paul doesn't talk. If he's my brother, we're going out to the bar and I'm getting.
That's right. Yeah. Your uncle, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then instead of being like, hey, you're C-Bomb's brother-in-law, you can be like, hey, you're Denzel's brother.
Right. And then I'm like, yeah, I know Denzel. Come home with me. I'll introduce you.
Yeah.
I didn't say that, Summer. Is that the last question? Here, Ian, I got the best question. Ian, you love these. Drop some advice you want to give. That's it.
What?
That's it. That's all it says.
Do we have some like really good general advice to give this guy?
Don't be a fucking dick online like all the other dicks.
Talk shit, get hit.
Yeah.
Top or bottom?
Bunk?
My fucking bag? Like, what is this question?
Oh well, I like the bottom.
Yeah, but that's like a gay question. Like, are you a top or a bottom? You know?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
I'm a
Giver or
bottom.
taker.
Like the bottom.
Well, like in gay,
You're a receiver.
in gay relationships,
bottom is
I think,
a receiver?
I think there's ones that are like only like they don't like do top.
There
Like
is.
it's you're always a bottom or always a top. You know?
Yeah, I think that's a thing. Yeah.
Oh.
Like you're always getting fucking railed. You know?
Oh.
Yeah, I know because I work with a guy. That's what he says.
Yeah, I think the more feminine one is generally the bottom. You know? Or they have what in the gay world what's called a power bottom. Have you ever heard of that one?
What's
what is that?
They do all the work?
Yeah, Google a
From the
power
bottom?
bottom.
No,
Google
I can
power
already
bottom.
I already know what a power bottom is in heterosexual
Well, I just want to see.
sex.
I just want to see what the
I don't know
Google
what it is.
definition is.
What is it? Heterosexual, Fouad?
Well, it's like when you fucking laying on your back and your girl's riding you, but you're
Fucking-
you're banging the fuck out of her while she's like you're holding her.
Yeah, but
hips.
don't say that's a power bottom because that's a homosexual term.
No, I'm not saying it, but in heterosexual terms, that's what.
So
it
you're
means.
saying you're a power bottom.
No, I'm too lazy. I'm a lazy bottom.
So,
But you are a bottom. You're a bottom.
I'm not anything. Fuck you, Ian.
Just say it.
your pitcher or catcher?
Okay, Google power bottom. I think it's going to be a gay term. You know.
That's I want to see a diagram.
What the fuck?
I'm still not understanding this fully.
What exactly is a power bottom? Power bottom means the bottom is in control of the sex and basically flipping the normal heteronormative script. It could be 1 second. Let me go on here.
So this isn't a gay thing.
BDSM community.
Let's see pictures. We need some pictures.
Yeah, go to images, Fouad, please.
Yeah, look at these pictures.
That doesn't explain anything.
What is this? It's like some,
What is with the 3 peaches?
Power bottom ballad. Click on that. Holy fuck.
where?
Right to the
Okay,
left.
wait
there.
here.
Left,
Power
left,
bottom.
left.
Power bottom right here. Oh, this
Okay,
is-
here we go.
No, these are
That's not, no,
exercises.
that's not it. What is this guy doing here?
Like this or like the I don't. Why are we watching this?
my
Like,
God. Why is he wearing a one-piece
Yeah, see,
catsuit?
this is a lot of gay stuff going on here.
no,
This is
can you
yeah.
figure out? Can you figure this out on your own time, Paul? Just,
Yeah, yeah. I'll do some Googling.
but no,
So
you know
we've
what?
concluded that
you know what
Fuad's a
the
power bottom.
you know what the heterosexual version of power bottom is, right?
So what I'm trying to
It's
picture,
when
okay,
you,
so
is when you is your girl's riding you, and you dig your fucking heels in,
And you just lift her up a little bit and just fucking jackhammer from
you
both.
oh
Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
they
yeah,
love
okay.
that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
It's hard to maintain that though for very long.
Wow, your glutes cramp and shit.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah. And to maintain
out of
that
shape.
kind of
you know
yeah,
what
to
helps with that, Paul? You need more salt.
more salt, yeah.
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 Well, I don't
maybe-
think Paul should have more salt.
yeah, I think I
He's
got
red-
enough salt.
He's red enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's we'll end it there. Paul, you wanna say a prayer?
Yeah, sure, Fouad.
Oh boy.
All right, let's
Gather
hang
your
our-
thoughts first on what's happened in the last week and get it together first.
Yeah, let me get my lighting. I gotta
No, this
try
is
to-
good. This is like good. Like
Oh yeah,
Jesus-y.
it's kind of yeah.
Oh, you
Well,
fucked
I
it up
lost
now.
it now, damn. Well, maybe I get it back.
Wait, I gotta show this. No, this is important.
Power bottom.
No.
Everyone pay close attention.
Look,
Gotta say
Glued-
something.
glued to my screen right now.
Look at this. It just came up on my Instagram. Look at fucking Ronnie Coleman in the best shape of his entire life. 2001 Arnold Classic. This is the ultimate Ronnie Coleman.
He definitely got bigger than this, but this is a great Ronnie.
But this is the best Ronnie because he had more size than 98, but still had his shape.
You don't
Fuck,
think like
he's-
an 03?
What's he weighing there?
I don't know if I had to guess 270, 265.
Let's see his back.
Dude,
His
look at
quads weren't ridiculous yet.
his waist. Yeah, but his waist is still small and shit. Like, look at that feathering in his fucking lats. Like, look at the fucking back. Like, it's just mesmerizing. Like, what the fuck, man? You got the Ronnie bounce. I did that once at a show. It looked like an idiot. Yeah.
Did you actually?
Fouad, are you all right?
I'll find it. It was like 2008. Like, I'm gonna
I
bounce
thought
like
you were
Ronnie.
about to pass out on stage.
Yeah. He is my idol, man. He's a freak of freaks. And I loved everything about him. I loved his training style. I loved the way he ate. He just didn't give a fuck. He's like, this is how I'm gonna do it.
Remember that one video of him Fouad, when he's driving in his car and he's got that voice activated for he's trying to tell him to dial a number.
He's trying to call the bank or some shit.
He's like, correction. And he had to do it like 4 or 5 times.
And it wouldn't recognize his voice. You know how many memes are made of that? Of him driving his car? Oh, it's hilarious.
Did I ever tell you guys the story of when I the first time I met Ronnie Coleman before I started bodybuilding? I have a picture of it. I'm like 150 pounds. And I met him at like a GNC thing. And I have the picture actually right here somewhere. It's like a little signed Ronnie Coleman picture in a frame. And it took me fucking 20 minutes to explain to this motherfucker how to spell Ian with an extra I. I'm like, yeah, it's Ian. And I'm like, Ian,
like,
though, but it's I-A-I-N. He's like, A-N. I'm like, no, I-A-I-N. He's like, A. And I'm like, no, wrong.
You're like, give me the pen.
And then he's like, can you show me? So I wrote it down. It's on. He's like, all right, I-A-I-N. You know?
That's awesome.
You know, I've never met. I think I met Ronnie once, but I've never tried to have a conversation with him. I'm always too fucking intimidated. I just love him from afar.
I stood in his line once. I got his picture once at an Arnold
Did you really?
Expo. Yeah,
Where at?
At an Arnold Expo.
Oh, at an Arnold Expo.
Yeah.
I think I stood in line for Cutler's line once.
That was the only
Maybe.
time I can remember waiting in someone's line from what I can remember.
Yeah.
But I wanted to meet Ronnie. His mom was there helping him do pictures and stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, he was awesome. Okay.
Yep.
Lead us off with a prayer.
All right. Oh, there we go. to
Hey,
Ian.
You can tell he was struggling with that. Look at that.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep pumping.
I wonder how many of those he threw away before he got the right one. It's like I,
Scratch.
A, and fuck.
It's too bad it's not all scratched out 4 times, then it's got its name correctly.
That would be better. It'd be worth more.
Yeah.
I'd be like, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
awesome. Yeah. All right. Lead us off with a prayer, Paul.
Okay, let us bow our heads. Well, dear leader, as we gather for another conversation tonight amongst friends, amongst men, I got a colonoscopy this week coming up, and just want to make sure I get through that okay.
Yeah,
And,
pray to God about your ass. See, you know what I said? That's what I was telling you guys. This guy just talks about his ass all the fucking time.
I do have a colonoscopy scheduled for Friday, so just want to make sure that goes okay. It comes back clean.
Okay, go on.
Learned about powerballing tonight. Power bottom, I mean, sorry. Let none of us ever be power bottomed in our lives, hopefully. And let's have a great week. And
And break.
What?
yeah.
It's like a fucking.
break.
It's like a coach's fucking speech. What kind of prayer is this?
Amen.
All right. Amen. We'll see you guys next
Fuck
week.
us.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
Disregard Detroit Pro, everything.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm thankful Detroit Pro went
Hey,
well.
you just thanked yourself the whole way. You're like, my ass, my fucking. We're just chopped liver. We're just.
I'm a little bit worried about the colonoscopy for that. I want to make get some good vibes going into that.
Lots of prayers,
Yeah.
All right, boys.
Okay,
See you next week.
guys.
Bye.
See you guys.